Does that sound fine?
What's the boogeyman?
Welcome back to the Moonjuice Metal Horror Podcast where we live and breathe heavy metal and horror, but are not afraid to shit on both of them. I'm Matt.
I'm Mike.
So, we have a guest star that has been trying to get in touch with us. Unfortunately, I was on vacation in the UK and we could not do this episode soon enough. But now I'm back and we're finally getting around to it. Thank goodness. And I'm really happy about it because we have Luna Gray from iHORROR on the line to talk with us. So say hello to everybody, Luna.
Hi, I'm Luna Gray. I'm the senior staff writer for iHORROR. I also run a publication that's called The Void Writes Back. And I recently published a book titled No Houses Are Empty. You can find that one on Amazon or Audible.
Okay.
Cool.
So for the book specifically, No House is Empty. How'd you come up with that title and what does it have to do with the book?
The title came later. Originally, I just wanted to make a short Christmas horror story because I love holiday-themed horror.
We do too.
Yeah, they're the best. But it kept growing and growing and growing. And then I started researching German folklore and these rules that they would have for your home on Christmas morning that I thought was very interesting. And so without spoiling too much, I ran with some of those ideas. And that's how I got the title, No House is Empty. It's really big into mythology and folklore and kind of against the whole commodification of these holidays.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you go with German? And this is just because I basically grew up here like Mike too, over here in Germany. Did you go with Germany because the culture is so like heavy with folklore? Is that why you went with German specifically?
Yeah, when I started looking up like Christmas or Yuletide or solstice folklore type stuff, so much of it came out of Germany and Scandinavia and just kind of that region. So I ended up sticking with Germany because the concepts seem more familiar to me. But yeah, and I don't use it beat for beat, but it is recognizable folklore to people that are familiar with it.
Okay.
It's focused on a relationship, not too much blood and gore, but more of a deep, unsettling dread.
I like that better anyway. I prefer it. It's like with horror movies or horror stories specifically, there's that whole group of people that are out for gore, and that's kind of everything they want to see, and that does it for them, which I have to admit, it does it for me too. But I'm also like more into the scare me with shit that I can't see. Scare me with stuff that I don't know about. It's like the unknown is so much better than just out and out gore. Okay. Now, when does the book come out, or is it already out?
The book came out last week.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So right now, it's on an introductory sale for $1 on Amazon.com. You can pick it up super cheap. I believe you can get it free with Prime.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Gotta check it out, dude.
That's cool shit. Okay.
I will raise the price up to the standard like $3.99 after this weekend.
Okay. Okay. Who did the cover art, by the way?
The cover art is actually, I just found different elements online and I kind of just worked them together using Photoshop.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, mainly Photoshop, but yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's still art.
Yeah.
You know, that's cool. Okay. So a little bit about you, just because I'd like everybody else to know too. Like, we all have our reasons for getting into horror. We all have our reasons for loving this thing that we love so much that everybody else use normies. It's like the word that I have to use for this because I have no idea what else to call people that are not horror fans because I don't think it's normal.
Yeah.
like, what got you into this? What like sets your heart aflame about horror, and what made you do what you do now?
So I fell in love with horror at a young age. My mom introduced me to Tales from the Crypt and all of the classic films. My favorite film before the age of 10 was Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warriors. Still one of my favorite
good one.
films. But then that grew into just a hobby as I wanted to be involved in horror and I didn't know how. So I started writing criticisms for free for different publications. And eventually, through cold emailing a bunch of company CEOs, I eventually landed a job at iHORROR. But the reason I stay with horror, and I've written essays, I've written college papers on this subject, no other genre explains the human condition in the same way that horror does. Horror takes giant societal problems that we have, distills it into a spooky monster, and the audience might not know they learned something at the end of it, but they did. And I love horror for that.
Yeah, I'm instantly reminded of Babadook when you say that. I felt like that was brilliant. I don't think there were a whole lot of films out there, specifically horror, that dealt with anxiety, and I think anxiety is horror. You know what I mean? Anxiety absolutely is horror, and that movie did such a good job explaining what anxiety is like for someone who doesn't have it. So I'm with you on that. I feel like horror can explain things that you normally would not be able to explain to someone, and horror makes them feel it. So
Exactly.
that's brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. How long have you been with iHORROR, and do you want to tell people a little bit about iHORROR if they haven't heard of it?
Oh, sure. I've been there for roughly 5 years. iHORROR is an online publication. We have about 4 million subscribers. And basically, we are one of the only indie presses left. All the other major guys got bought out by corporations. Bloody Disgusting, Fangoria, Red Central. So we're the only indie guys left. And because of that, we spend a lot of our time focusing on indie films and with indie producers, trying to get names out there. We obviously cover your major horror titles too. But like if you really want a list of movies that you've never heard of before, you go to iHORROR, you look at one of my lists, you'll find some stuff that you've never heard of. We don't do the same kind of news cycle as everybody else. They put out 18 stories a day. We might only put out 2, but they're the 2 that you care about.
Right.
Yeah. That's good. That's cool. Yeah.
So more substance than quantity. That's cool. Okay. I've heard a lot about iHORROR, even being over here in Germany, because there's a lot of people over here that talk about it. And I don't feel like Germany really, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but Germany didn't really get the whole Fangoria phase that went on in the 80s. You don't really see too many horror publications or anything like that. So in Germany, if you wanted to watch horror movies, you had to either know someone who was into it and was able to get a hold of VHSs, because a lot of them were blacklisted anyway. Or you had to know someone in America to be able to get your stuff. And so horror is kind of, I'm not going to say it's a recent thing over here, but it was never really as big as it is now in Germany. And so Germany's kind of been cut off from it. Am I pretty right on that, Mike, for the most part?
No, I wouldn't say that. Okay, so I mean, when you looked in the internet in the 90s, you could find enough horror. I mean, of course, you rarely saw it on mainstream publications, but you have a lot of horror movies that were running on free TV. It's just they were edited to a point that the movies didn't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, something that you can kind of consider to be horror is The Crow, for example, the original, from the 90s. And that movie was cut down so brutally that it was like 70 minutes. And I remember also seeing American Werewolf in Paris, as well, in free TV. And that movie was also trimmed down to the point where it was like only about 80 minutes. So it's like it's really confusing because The Crow. When I watched that on free TV in Germany, it was like there were just multiple scenes that are gone. It's like you see like Eric Draven run into the house, and then and then he come back out of the house and the guy's dead, more or less. That's how it's. Germany is when it comes to violence in movies. They're pretty extreme. So Germans are just like like the States are like they don't like showing nudity,
Yeah, it's
but they're
opposite.
totally fine with violence. Germany is the exact opposite.
Okay.
They're with nudity how they're with violence how Americans are with nudity, but they'll show boobies all day long. You can go
No
to a
problem.
supermarket. You'll see literally like Iron Man comic, Mickey Mouse comics, and right on top Playboy.
Love that. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
But anything that's violent is cut. In fact, if you saw Evil Dead before 2002, the original,
Mhm.
it's because somebody got you a bootleg version of it because it was illegal over here until then.
It was banned. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I think it was banned up until like 2004 or 2005.
Yeah.
Evil Dead
Was
1
it?
and 2.
Oh shit! I thought it was 2002. But
That movie
either way, we've come a long way because there was a milestone just recently where they allowed Terrifier 3, which they didn't allow Terrifier 1 and 2 in normal theaters at all. Terrifier 3 came out completely uncut in Germany the month that it came out. And everybody was like, what the like, nobody could believe it because nobody had ever seen anything like that in the theater over here. So finally, we're to that point where horror is becoming more, I hate to use the word mainstream, but it's not as hated as it was, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
The whole genre thing had huge renaissance for that. I mean, we took over the Oscars this year.
Yeah.
And I love to see it.
yeah, I'm happy to see it, not just because it's horror, but because a lot of times, at least with Hollywood, it's treated as kind of like a subgenre of movies instead of actual art. And even at the time when a lot of the horror was just a splatterfest, there were some Argento, some of his movies that were that's fucking art, dude. And everybody's like, oh, it's just horror. It doesn't even have a place at the Oscars or anywhere. And so all over the place now, horror is being recognized. I love that. It's like a heyday finally.
Yeah, I feel like it's like the heyday in the 80s again because, and I think it's for the same reason. In the 80s, people got access to home cassette. They could start making their own movies.
Right.
Now, if you have an iPhone and a desktop or a laptop, you can also make a movie.
Yeah.
I think it's for the same reason.
Yeah. Which can be a good thing or a bad thing. There is a lot of not so good horror out there, but I mean, the fact that it's you can access it more easily now as a watcher and a viewer is great. And honestly, I don't think there's no oversaturation here too. I think it's not like the Marvel movies or any of these Hollywood films where it's like, oh God, here's another one of the same shit just rehashed over and over with CGI everywhere. Like now the horror movies that are coming out actually have some substance to them. And it seems like we're getting more unique ideas now than we ever have.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I think that we're also getting different voices that are getting to talk, and that's allowing for a lot of that creativity.
Yeah.
Whereas in the 80 boom, there wasn't a lot of female directors or people of color. So yeah, I qualify for that. I think that there's more people putting out more ideas. But I love it. But you're right, as far as it's a blessing and a curse, because if you could see some of the films that hit my inbox. And a finished movie, man.
Yeah, right. Have you, having kind of devoted your life to this kind of thing, have you ever considered doing a horror movie, or have you ever considered being in a horror movie?
Not really, no. I always joke that I'm a critic. I don't create things. I just judge everyone else's work. but I can't. I have a hard time visualizing things. Like my wife is a painter, and she does amazing work, but I can't do that. All of my stuff is written or yapping. I'm pretty good at that, but I can't. I can't like envision a movie.
Okay. Speaking of being a critic, because that's pretty much what Mike and I do. I think when we get a movie on, if it's one we put on our list, a lot of them we don't know anything about, right? And so we'll do the movie after having just watched it. And I think it's a really easy thing to want to praise everything because you know how much work goes into these things. You know how budgets are. You know how studios like to interfere. So a lot of times when a movie comes out and it's not necessarily great, you try not to be too hard on it. But I think me and Mike have just we don't care anymore. So, I mean, if it's like,
I mean, Matt, I never had the feeling we ever cared.
well, there are times, dude, there are times I have held back and been like, I want to say this, but I'm not going to say it because I think I know what the director was going for. And I know that performance is not the actor's fault. And so if I say that, then I'm going to feel bad about it. But at the same time, you got to be able to say what you think about something, right? Do you struggle with that at all when you write about movies?
I do, yeah, because again, like our focus is mainly on indie. And so some of these films that come through that are rough, I want to give them a positive review, but I need to let the viewers know too, like, hey man, this movie has zero budget. So if you want to go in just to see the cool little storyline they got going on, go watch it. But do not expect like polished content. So I always try to be honest but truthful because I have to have some sort of credibility or no one will listen.
Yeah, that's where we're at too. We quit holding our tongues pretty early. I think the first movie we did on this podcast was Werewolves, right?
Yeah, that was the first. That was the first movie we did. Yeah,
and man, we fucking destroyed that movie.
yeah.
That thing was dead. Like you put that thing in a body bag when we were done with it because it was terrible. Like it was terrible, and I wanted to like that movie. Did you see that movie, Werewolves? Oh my god, man!
I mean, it's basically The Purge with werewolves. Duh. That's basically it. And generally, when we saw the trailer, like, okay, this could actually be pretty cool. No,
it'd be great. Werewolves look good too.
There are a few things about it that are kind of good. I mean, the werewolves look kind of like this typical 80s, 90s guys in a suit werewolf. No, that's cool. No, but the storyline on so many points is so dumb and so nonsensical that it's hard not to complain about it. I mean, if I see, like, for example, we have the one scene where we have like two werewolves just randomly in a street bashing on a car, not ripping anything apart, just standing on it and slamming on a car. Both Matt were thinking like, these are werewolves, not, I don't know. Yeah. They're not the punk.
Yeah.
And to be ripping doors off with their superhuman strength and like
yeah. And then there was an entire plot line in that thing in the movie that made no sense because it's like, okay, the basic thing is a supermoon comes and everybody turns into a werewolf.
Okay,
that goes outside. What kind of is a little bit silly? I thought they should have written something a little bit more into it, like there's a genetic error in these people or whatever that makes them turn to werewolves or something, not just like everybody turns into a werewolf, because that kind of totally erases the stakes, because if this was the case and people wanted to survive, they just had to go inside for a night and nobody would die. But then you have like the werewolf thing starts and you have like this entire group of people that locked themselves into a subway station within the span of like, I don't know, 2 hours. They develop like their own society down there, their own laws, their own rules, to a point even their own slang where I'm like, what, that went fucking fast.
Right. I mean, I guess they were motivated.
I guess that's really the only excuse you could come out with to make that work.
That's really silly.
But overall, it's still an enjoyable movie. It's just like, half the time you're sitting there laughing just because everything is so nonsensical.
It's so stupid. Yeah.
My wife hates those kind of movies. The B movies that are bad but hilarious, and those are one of my favorite rock films.
I was
love
going to say we love those.
Yeah. And I think partially it's because of my job. Like I have to analyze film all day long. So when you send me one of those films, if there's just nothing to analyze, it's just all vibes. I like that. Like I like that I can just sit there, my brain off, and laugh at whatever silly thing is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there ever a movie that you had to analyze that you just could not figure out what the hell was going on in that film?
Yeah, I'm not going to say the name because I was supposed to interview, or I was supposed to interview the director and everything. And I watched the film and I emailed them back and I was like, we're going to have to cancel that. This movie, I can't. You're not going to like anything I write.
Yeah.
So it would be best if we just part ways now. And they have never sent me another email again. So
Holy crap. Okay.
Oh, God.
Okay. Yeah, I know the time is going to come that we're going to want to do a movie on here, and it's going to be so bad that we might not even want to do it. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure it'll happen.
fingers
Um,
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's one series we did that you made me do that I didn't even want to watch because I want to turn it off after 20 minutes.
Which one was that?
Alien Earth.
Right, Alien Earth.
When that came out, I started watching it and I was like, I turned it off after 20 minutes. Like, no. I mean, there are already 3 concepts in this show after the first 20 minutes that in themselves would be interesting for a show, but all together in an alien. Oh no, I don't want to. And then Matt, I look at my phone and Matt texts me, "Oh Mike, we have to do an episode on this series." Like, oh fuck, no, I have to watch this.
Yeah, Alien Earth is tricky for me because I think that it can get a lot of new viewers into the Alien franchise, but it also like retcons so much of the Alien films, and it's like I don't personally like it, but I think that it could be good for the franchise overall.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, for popularity's sake and getting the brand name out there, yeah. But at the same time, I don't know if it needs it. I mean, what self-respecting horror fan doesn't know Alien and Aliens? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes so a lot of people stopped with part 4, the movie, and they were like, this is ridiculous. Why are we doing this? This did not need to happen. But I tend to disagree there because at least that movie didn't break lore.
Mhm.
It didn't destroy any concept that was created with the first 2 films or even the third one. So it feels like it fits there. Alien Earth does not at all. Not at all. And the fact that we're allowing sacred IPs like that to get stomped on as a fan drives me insane.
I mean, I still stand with my point. Alien Earth is just basically Peter Pan, and they replaced the alligator with a xenomorph.
That's not wrong.
That's fair. Yeah, fair criticism. Fair criticism.
That's really good. I recently I tried to do a article covering the entire lore within the Alien franchise, and that being a 32-page article.
I believe it.
Yeah, I had no idea that the whole thing was supposed to be like a metaphor for Jesus and what do like gods owe their creation and all of this stuff. I like some of it I had picked up on, but not nearly in as much detail as when I actually started digging.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of background to the story itself, but you would never know it without actually listening to what the writer and director had to say about it. You know what I mean? Because there's no way you're going to get that out of the movie itself. So it means something to them that nobody else is going to pick up on, and that's why it's there. But I think in terms of horror movies, I have my favorites. Alien is by far that's top 3, right, for me. And to watch what this show is doing to that series, it's like it's painful,
Yeah.
and that's really why I wanted to do that episode on that first season is because people need to hear that. Like, don't support it. I hate to say that because it's horror. You want to support horror, but at the same time, it's just, I don't know, it's cash grab.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of that out there.
I wish they would dedicate those resources to like a legitimate sequel that actually goes in line with all of the stuff that we've been watching for 50 years, or 40. But no, I mean, the problem is they already have our money.
Yes.
They're trying to find new people to get money from.
Yes.
And so, and it looks like it's working. So
it's working. I mean, that's what happens if you take a beloved intellectual property and add new stuff to it. It's like the Star Wars phenomenon. You got your old fans that are going to come see it, even though they don't want to because they know what you've done to it. Mm-hmm. And then you get the new fans that are like, "Oh, this is great," and then they hate each other. But at least that franchise is making money, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I just wish. Do you feel? I think I'm speaking for Mike too, but he can correct me if I'm wrong. Do you feel like there's enough original ideas out there now that are getting funded, or do you feel like the funding is not going to these studios, these indie films enough? Like, is not enough of a chance being taken on them?
I don't think enough of a chance is being taken. Well, and it's not necessarily the low budget films. It's actually the mid-range films. We used to get a whole bunch of horror movies that were just like, okay. Like, they were just okay movies. And say what you will about them. But now the only two types of movies we get are giant blockbuster or zero budget indie. Because there's nowhere for the middle people to go anymore. Streaming killed all that. But I think that Hollywood just keeps having the wrong idea. Like, we're seeing this with Obsession and Backrooms and everything. Now they're going to mine YouTube for every available horror thing they can do. They've already announced 2 projects. There's the Siren Head, something else.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it's like, no. The idea, like, these worked because the creators loved them. They put all the time and effort, and the fans. The reason that YouTube horror works so well is you put out an episode and you get instant feedback from your audience. You can't do that with a movie.
Right.
So for Backrooms, it's been doing that forever. Or Curry Barker, who's been doing that forever. I think that lends itself to making a good movie. But not every YouTube horror channel is going to be a good movie.
Right. Just not really enough like creative ideas or anything like that. Or I've often felt like maybe they just don't think they're going to get funded. That's the other thing. Like, there's a lot of people with really brilliant ideas that could have made a fantastic film. It's just that I think they don't trust the system.
Yeah.
Not only that, it's almost like you have to sell your whole soul just to get funding for something or to get somebody to support you. And if you look at some of the movies that get made by Hollywood or like the big budget films, the ideas are awful. They're not good.
Yes.
And then the execution is dreadful as well. But it makes the money, and that's why they're able to do it. I just think that's horribly sad.
It is, and it's all like by design, though, in a certain aspect. Like, horror films are incredibly cheap to make comparatively to other films. So they'll pump out these mid or below tier horror films just so they can make enough in ticket sales to make that drama piece they actually want to make.
Right.
We get screwed over there, kind of, but every once in a while we get some good ones out of it. Hocus Pocus is a good example of that. A movie that was supposed to be cheap was supposed to flop. It did flop, but then people found it later and brought it back to life.
So I have to ask this because I asked this with pretty much all of our guests. But for you specifically, it's a really interesting thing. And I don't know if you can answer it or not. It might be one of those things you want to keep to yourself. But if you had to say what your favorite horror movie was, would you be able to?
Oh, God. No. Like, I would need to narrow it down by like year. What comes to mind first is it's always going to be Nightmare on Elm Street 3 more years. That's been my go-to answer forever. Yeah. But I've seen a lot of movies since then. Skinamarink, for example. I watched that movie alone at 2 a.m. in the dark.
Great
and
movie.
that scared the crap out of me. I love
Yeah.
it. But I think for probably just staying power, it still probably is Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. I mean, it's so iconic. There's so many quotable lines. There's so much iconography. Like, I own the T-shirts with the needle hands and all that.
Yeah.
I just love it.
Okay.
You
I
guys.
figured. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically it's the same answer that I get from everyone, and I think this is really telling about horror, and that's why I always ask.
Mhm.
Is the answer always tends to be nostalgic, right? Because we all remember that time in our lives where we saw our maybe not our first horror movie, but a horror movie that just like did something to you. Whether it scared you to death or you just thought it was insanely cool, or maybe the way that they filmed it was awesome. Horror has a way of hitting you and then you never forgetting about it, which I can't say that about any other genre of movie. Like, you know, if you ask me what my favorite movie is and not horror movie, I'm probably going to say Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? But that's because that's a normal movie and it was brilliantly filmed and stuff like that. But that didn't make me feel anything quite like a horror film.
Right.
And it's a total nostalgic feeling. All Mike's stories about watching everything with his grandmother, Mike would have never been into horror like he is now if it weren't for her. And because those were early influences, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing right now if it wasn't a nostalgic thing for you, I'm sure. It's like a
Yeah, definitely.
comfy
Definitely.
thing.
Definitely. Yeah.
I think that actually kind of ties into the movie that we were going to talk about, in the sense of, on the outside, horror is something that's perceived as like, oh, these are bad, crazy people who are like forcing themselves to watch other people get murdered. And like metal gets so much of the same kind of attention of like devil worshippers and blah, blah. Whereas, but in what we see in this film is no, I mean, they're a perfectly happy family, and that music is their language of love in their household.
Yeah.
I think it's very similar in that way.
That's what I actually liked about it, how really metal vibe this movie is. That I thought was totally cool. Yeah. That was definitely something that really got me catched in the movie the entire time.
Yeah. And that's one thing I wanted to say too is thank you for finally bringing a movie to the podcast that actually combines heavy metal and horror, because this is supposed to be a heavy metal horror podcast. And even though we're in a death metal band and we love what we do, we rarely find an opportunity to talk about metal. Right. And there's not,
we should though. We should, but
the last thing you want to do is try to shoehorn it in. And I feel like metal is a lot like horror in the fact that there's a lot of saturation, right? And there's a few good ones, but there's not so much to talk about unless somebody does something really new and special, right? And there's not a whole lot of that in metal, just like there's not in horror, unfortunately. I'm hoping that'll change. But again, thank you for bringing this film to the podcast. Now we can actually talk about metal. So in the heavy metal, by the way, you are a metal fan, right?
I'm no, like
no.
Okay. I listen to very soft music.
That's okay. We won't hold it against you. We won't hold it against you.
You guys could learn me a thing or two about metal while I was here.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I think, well, I don't think, I know, metal and horror are kind of a hand-in-hand thing. You can be into one and not the other. Of course, there's a lot of metalheads who do not like horror movies, right? But if you are a fan of both, it is the perfect marriage of that kind of thing, because the subject matters are the exact same thing with heavy metal and horror. We talk about dark things, sometimes evil things. There's satanic imagery in there, all that stuff. But there are only a couple of movies that actually put the two together. And this one does it perfectly.
Good.
Perfectly.
Yeah, I was going to get your guys' opinion on that, since I'm not the metal at it. It blended it. So that's awesome.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. There's, I think it's a very small nitpick, but it's not even really worth mentioning. But the metal that you hear in this is more mainstream metal. Like it's stuff that's like if you're a metalhead, you definitely know it. If you're not a metalhead, then you may be hearing it for the first time, or you may have heard about it because it is more mainstream music. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if you have metalheads that are watching this movie, we're not going to be like, oh, that sucks. I can't believe they did that song, because they picked great songs from great artists for this.
Yeah.
My only gripe is that they could have maybe put one or two bands in there that people may not have heard of to kind of, turn people onto that music, because there are a lot of really good bands out there that don't get the credit, and they don't get, the play that other bands do. So I would have liked to have seen them put some other obscure band in there for people to catch on, but that's a really small gripe. The music that they use in this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the film.
And go ahead.
I was saying I love the film. I reviewed the Blu-ray recently. I'm like, in general, I just love the director. I don't know if you guys had seen any of his previous work. Did you watch The Lovely Ones?
Yes.
The
Loved Ones. The Loved Ones.
Loved Ones.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a gnarly movie.
one of my favorite movies, actually.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Great.
Yeah.
That
movie is twisted.
yes, it was a gnarly movie.
Fucking love it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I love the director, and then when I was offered to do the Blu-ray, I was like, yeah, absolutely, I want to see this in 4K. But yeah, I thought it was the perfect one to chat with you guys about. So
You're actually right about. Oh, God.
Yeah.
So you guys like the metal aspect. What do you think about the plot?
Well, actually, the plot I thought was also really good. Because it kind of starts out as just like this family moving to the country and buying a house or all of that. The kind of dynamic with the father and daughter being metalheads and the mom not being in the middle at all, I thought was interesting. But overall, it's kind of in the beginning, not really clear how much of what kind of a horror it was going to be. No, but then leaning entirely into the entire supernatural thing, specifically how strongly it led into Christianity. No, I thought that was actually pretty cool. And also the plot, what I kind of like is it also deals with mental health, as you can see in I'm going to call him main antagonist. Even though he's influenced by Satan, devil, or some kind of demon, his entire situation felt like a metaphor for mental illness. And that was also, I thought, interesting about the movie. And even up until the end, it's not really entirely clear with actually what kind of an entity we're dealing. Of course, Satan is mentioned multiple times, but it's never really like pinpointed like, yeah, it's that entity. It could be like, they're like, I don't know, hundreds maybe entities this thing could be.
Yeah.
Also, you never see it. You just see like the weird voices coming, the whisper.
I think the thing that I like the most about it, story-wise, is the fact that it is a very normal family. These are characters that you probably knew some people like this, right? Or you yourself and your family are like this, especially if you're a metalhead. It's a very cute family. I hate to use that word, but they are like very cute characters. The dad is all about metal. The little girl loves the shit out of her father, and they have this, metal thing that they love together. And the mom is just a cool character. She's just going along with the whole thing. And you see families like this that are in a situation that they don't necessarily want to be in, like starter parents, or they're in a house that they don't like, or a neighborhood that they don't like, and they want to move, right? And so that happens in the film, and it's a time where you're really happy for the family, even though you kind of just saw what happened before. The foreshadowing is killer, and that's what kills me. Is you get the foreshadowing, and then you see the family, and you're like, "Fuck, man, I don't want this to happen to this family,"
Yeah.
And the story, I will say this movie is by far one of the darkest that we reviewed on the podcast.
Yeah.
The subject matter is extremely dark.
Yeah.
The things that happen in the movie are extremely dark. And I think that this movie is a great example of how you shock and scare without a lot of gore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
It did not need it at all.
No, it's tense throughout, and the implied imagery is enough.
I know.
Yeah. Although I was trying to figure it out, and we could probably get more into it as we get into the movie, but the thing about mental health, it's hard to say if what's going on is supernatural or if it is strictly a mental health thing, because that's another way that you could look at it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Whether, the guy is disturbed and it's a kind of a mental disorder, and it's possible that the father may also have a little bit of that too, because we all know at about this guy's age, I'd say he's probably mid-30s, right? This is about the time that this kind of thing starts to hit too. And you can develop this kind of mental illness, whether it's auditory, visual, hallucinations, psychopathy, even around mid-30s. And so I thought, okay, yes, you could look at this as a demon moving from one person to another, influencing one person and then influence another person, or this is all about mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where I am with it. I kind of feel like it's a story about mental health.
I think it's a coin flip for me. I think that it leans more into. It's my opinion that they're both receivers. They're both receiving messages.
Yeah.
But the way that they handle it differently, one uses music to find themselves again, to center themselves, and one uses music to protect themselves from outside forces.
Yes.
And I think that that's just such an accurate description of what we use music for in the first place.
Yes.
But I do lean more on the supernatural side of it. And I do think it's a risky choice for the film, because there is an interpretation of just being like, oh, this mentally handicapped person is a monster because they're mentally handicapped. And then that's not a good look. But I don't think they did that.
No, not at all. No, it definitely doesn't have anything bad to say about people who do have mental disabilities or anything like that. I didn't get that from it at all. But yes, it is a very risky thing.
Yes.
But I guess maybe I can go with you on that. Now thinking a little bit about it, it does lean a little bit more into supernatural.
It does. Yeah,
it does. But correct me if I'm wrong. There is a scene in here where a name of a demon is mentioned, but I'm not sure if it has anything to do with the demon that we're dealing with, or if this was something completely different. But the name Belial comes up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of there's like satanic iconography throughout the film. And but that's also a play too, because it's like, okay, well, how much of this is about the devil and how much is about metal music? Like, those kind of go hand in hand as well. I think they did a masterful job of like keeping you in the dark with all of these elements.
That's true. Yeah.
Because even at the end, you still don't know,
Right.
Yeah. There's also, in terms of like how they filmed it and some of the imagery that they use, you mentioned it has a lot of satanic imagery. There's some too that if you blink, you miss it, kind of thing. If you don't look at the wide screen, I don't know if you noticed, this film plays with the screen so much and how much of the screen you can see, that if you're fixed on one thing in the center of the screen or the right of the screen, then you're missing something off to the left that's happening, right? And they play with the stained glass window in front of the door so much. Did you catch all that stuff?
I caught it a couple times. You do the shadows in front of the door and stuff like that. Just again, the amount of thought and detail that's put into that. And for so many people to not even notice is the thing. Like, this is a fantastic film that maybe got a little bit of recognition. It's got a great critic score, but nobody really talks about it. It's not on any of your top 10 lists. And
I had heard about it and never saw it.
Yeah.
And I have to wonder why. This is something that comes up in this podcast every once in a while. We'll do a movie that is absolutely amazing, and then we want everybody to see it, and then we're like, why did this movie not get out? Why do more people not know about this film? And I have to wonder why. If that's studio budget for advertisement, if that's, why does stuff like that happen? What's your point of view on that? Because
it's budgetary normally.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. One of the most famous examples is The Wicker Man.
The original or the remake?
The
remake. The original.
No,
okay.
Yeah. In the middle of shooting that movie, the production company was going bankrupt. And they, in the middle, got bought out by another company. So as they're trying to wrap up shooting, this new company comes to shut it down because they're not interested in making films. That's not what they want to do. They're making commercials now.
Okay.
They end up getting it made anyway, but that new studio is not promoting the film at all. So the director had to go from theater to theater in like San Francisco trying to sell this movie to theaters to play it. It didn't get it didn't get a proper thing until like 7 years later, I think. Then it finally, like, enough critics had noticed and were talking about it that it got like a re-release with promotion. And this movie specifically, I'm pretty sure this was distributed by IFC Midnight, who's not around anymore, and they never had a whole lot of money. So I'm guessing that advertisement for this was probably little to none. Okay.
Can you remember any of the other movies that they put out that did well?
IFC Midnight, they put out that 8 Films to Die For, and that did really well.
Those were good. I saw those. Yeah,
those were good.
Okay,
but beyond that, I can't remember.
Okay. Yeah, it's a shame. This is one of those that I would really want more people to see, just because I kind of want to see what people think about it. I mean, everybody can kind of have their opinion about what happens in the film, but there's always somebody, if you talk to enough people, like if there's a fan base for a film, you'll finally hear something that you hadn't heard before, that you didn't notice, that somebody else noticed. And I feel like this film is chock so full of imagery that we had to have missed some things. It's also one of those I'm going to have to go back and watch again, because it was good.
Definitely.
I watched it with one of my kids, and now I have to watch it again with the other kid. So,
what'd the kids think?
My oldest is who watched it with me, and he loved it. He thought it was amazing. I'm blanking on his name right now, but our protagonist, the father,
Jesse.
Yeah. He has the most. All of his acting is in his face.
Yes.
And as he's walking up the stairs about halfway through the movie, it looks almost like there's fire burning behind his irises as he's getting more stressed out. And that's something that me and him had talked about a lot after the film, was how that actor can pull that off with just body language, and why that's one of the most important aspects of acting that you really only pick up on in horror. So a lot of the times you have to act without being able to talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I know what scene you're talking about too, because it struck me is in that scene when he's walking up the stairs and stressed out. This is the first time that this force has actually really like made itself almost known to him. And it seems like everything else around him is starting to darken, including his skin, because of the shadows. And really the only thing you end up seeing at the end is his silhouette and his eyes. I noticed that too.
They're
brilliant. Yeah. This actor is so fucking good too. And I've never seen him before.
We see these actors once, they do a marvelous performance, and then never again.
Yeah. On the other hand, the guy who plays the main antagonist, I'm blanking on the actor's name right now. because I know this guy's name too. This is one of those instances where I'm like, why on the podcast?
Yeah.
But
Jonathan Kent. No, but
Jonathan Kiss, or yeah,
No.
no,
not
not Superman's father. No.
No, but his name is Pruitt Taylor Vince.
Yeah.
I'm probably mispronouncing it, but I think that's
No, that's right. He's been
Yeah.
in a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, one movie I remember that guy from was I'm not sure if it's the English title, Identity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the English title. No, okay.
Yeah.
I really like that movie. He was also in that movie. Yeah.
I'm waiting on a 4K of that right now to review.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
He was also in the vampire series True Blood. He was kind of towards the end. He was like a twisted doctor that was torturing vampires. Yeah.
Love
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then, of course, his debut was an X-Files episode.
Nice.
Way back in the day. And he played a serial killer that would abduct people. Also, had psychosis and thought that there were monsters in people's heads. So
Okay.
he would abduct people and then strap them to a chair and then cut into their brain trying to cut the monsters out. And the monsters were called howlers, if I remember.
Okay.
Nice. And that was the first time I saw him, and I remembered how creepy this dude was because of his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
This guy has the shiftiest eyes of any actor I have seen, and it works to his advantage so well.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Especially in this genre. I think that the first time I saw and remembered him was in that Constantine movie. And then as soon as I saw him in that, I started seeing him everywhere. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, this dude's a good actor.
Yeah.
Nice.
So is there anything else we want to say about this movie before we say the name of it? Because for whatever reason, Mike's been really fucking good about not giving it away this time.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, okay. Movie we're doing today is The Devil's Candy.
Yeah. Not to be confused with Hard Candy, which is also a great film. Not necessarily a horror movie, but when you first mentioned that you wanted to do this one, I was like, I think I saw that one. Wasn't that one about a girl who kills a pedophile? And I'm like, oh, that's actually perfect for the podcast. And then I realized that wasn't the film that we were talking about. But I'm thankful it's this one because this one's fucking fantastic.
Yes, very good. It's really a brilliant horror movie.
Before we start getting into the film and doing it, is there anything that either of you want to say about this film in terms of like the parts of it that shocked you or got you or maybe threw you off from what you thought the story was at first? Because I had that.
I was thrown off when he reveals the new painting. That's when it took a turn for me, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to get darker than I thought it was going to get."
Yes, that was exactly my spot.
Okay, cool.
Because was not expecting that. Mike, was there anything in here that kind of like threw you for a loop?
I can't think of anything actually.
Okay.
No, because I don't know. For me, generally, the opening of the movie already, to me, kind of, hinted towards the fact that the movie was probably going to get pretty dark. Because, directly in the beginning, it already hints towards the supernatural, that some kind of supernatural entity in this movie. Well, yeah, there were two scenes, but I don't know how meaningful they are. They're like, there was one scene where I thought they were going to kill the dog, but they didn't.
Yeah.
That was one that was positively surprised by. And what I did not expect is that the antagonist was going to be going after children. No. That was also something I didn't expect. But beyond that, no, I wouldn't say there was anything that threw me off.
Okay. Yeah. So her moment was the same as mine. It's when we see the painting, because for most of this time, you think it is about mental illness, right? And then when that happens, all of a sudden
Yeah.
it adds a supernatural element to it. And that was the twist that I thought they did really well, because there was no hint of that up until that point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it just seemed like someone having audio hallucinations.
Yeah.
It's also done really well when the movie opens up. For everybody who hasn't seen it, there is this air of audio that kind of goes over everything else. There always seems to be kind of an audio crunch, some type of background noise that's happening, even if it's white noise. And as the film opens up, you don't hear any of that. It is dead fucking silent until a certain point in the opening scene, and that's when you start to get actual sound, right? And I thought that was brilliant how they did that, because there's not a quiet moment in the rest of the film.
Yeah,
It's just
and
a
they're
dead quiet opening.
yeah, it's a dead quiet open, and then I mean, this movie's almost a musical with how reliant it is on the music in the film too.
Yeah.
It's not just background music; it adds to the plot. It's part of the home, you know. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that was a really smart move to kind of throw the audience off there a little bit.
Yeah. It got me too, because I'd never seen this film. And normally I'll go into this like having seen most horror films that we do, but I hadn't seen this one. So when it started, I was like, fuck, my audio is messed up. And so I turned the TV up.
Oh,
Like,
It hit you hard, yeah.
and then
Yeah.
of course the first sound that you get is the little bit of whispers and then the guitar, right?
right.
It
Yeah.
just drowns everything out. And I was like, oh shit. And I turned it back down, you know? But that's what you get. You get the main antagonist, and we don't know he's the antagonist yet. And he's in his house at night. There's a little bit of kind of a whispering, murmuring voice that we suspect only he can hear. The smart thing that the director-writer didn't do was make this an actual language. So at least I don't hear a language in there. I don't think it's Latin. I don't think it's any other type of European-based language. Am I getting that wrong?
I haven't really looked into it, but also I didn't really pay much attention to that, if it was an actual spoken language or not, you know. So I actually missed that part.
Okay.
I mean, I heard chorus.
but I said I assumed that it's not a real language, but I did
Yeah.
not fact check it.
I don't think it is. I didn't hear anything in there, and I think that that's smart. It's kind of like what they did in Evil Dead, like the language that they use that is in the Necronomicon is Sumerian, but still very butchered Sumerian, so you don't really know what's going on. This is the same way. It's just an incoherent kind of chant, right? So there's no hint to this is a demon or this is a force. For anybody who's watching this could just be a mental health thing. And so he's standing in his bedroom. The voices start to get louder, although not very loud because the sound is still very low at this point. And then you see him hit his guitar. And of course, this is the middle of the night, as far as we can tell. In this house, all the lights are turned out, and he's just laying on the top 3 strings of this Flying Bee guitar with the fucking amp cranked all the way up. And all this distortion in it, and it's just droning. It sounds like the worst fucking doom metal you've ever heard.
Yeah, and also, yeah.
Yeah.
And also because the guy is basically also just doing the same thing. He's just hitting one chord and just hitting the strings.
Yeah,
So
that's
he's
exactly
fine
what doom
with
metal
that.
is. It's this movie already plays
Yeah.
a joke on doom metal. It does,
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
that's exactly what this is. If you listen to doom metal, it's like the top 3 chords for as long as the feedback can go, and then they just do it again.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm very sorry to my dying bride, but that's kind of all your music is. Anyway, so he does that, and I immediately got the idea that he's doing that to try to quiet and drown out the voices, right?
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
this works for him. And quite honestly, if people in the film had just let him do that, there probably wouldn't be a bunch of dead kids.
Yeah, right. I didn't
Yeah.
understand that part. Like, who cares? Get him some headphones. Let him do whatever he wants. Like,
Yeah.
Exactly. Like if the guy needs to be showered by a marshal so that he doesn't kill a bunch of kids, then get him some fucking headphones and let him just sit there and do that. But he's doing this to drown out the voices so that he doesn't do what the voices want him to do. And you get the feeling throughout the movie that he really doesn't want to do these things. He even says it himself.
Yeah. Multiple times, even.
Yeah.
The way he said it, yeah.
He's being forced to do it is the way he presents it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we learn in the movie that he had done this when he was much younger as well. So
Right, yeah.
we don't know if the entity was messing with him at that point in time, or even if he lived on that property. So to me, that kind of implied that he was already that type of person. And so that maybe that just manipulates whatever vibe you already have going on.
Yeah.
Like a wedding face.
Yeah. Well, there's something to be said about that too. I mean, I don't believe in anything. I hold no religious belief. Mike doesn't either. But a lot of religious people will tell you that if you are into a certain thing, that sometimes is an easy way to channel something darker, because darkness attaches itself to certain things like heavy metal music, or
And
a
Dungeons
like
and
of horror,
Dragons.
you know? Right. Exactly. And so you're not really sure if that's what's going on here or not. We don't really find out that he did this thing before until much later in the movie. But it still lets you know, hey, this guy was doing these things since the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's in his room on his guitar. A person that we assume is his wife, because she's about the same age he is, walks into the room because he's playing his guitar way too fucking loud in the middle of the night. She says, "Turn it off." And he says, "But I have to play it loud. You have to let me play it loud." And this is when she says, "Pack your things. You're going back to the hospital." Right.
Mhm.
And I'm assuming it's not because he's keeping her up. I assume that maybe he started doing this again for the first time in a long time. Right? Like maybe he was doing good for a while. And
that kind of threw me too, because if you know this person well enough that you know they have these tendencies, and that they could have the potential for violence, maybe choose a softer tone and tell them that you're going to get restrained, not that you're taking them out to a mental institution. Like,
but don't scream at the lion.
Right? Yeah.
There's points that,
Yeah. So once she takes this tone with him, he shuts off the guitar, and then I guess she's walking down the stairs to go make the phone call, I would assume. And then he hits her over the head with something. I couldn't tell if it's just, was it like a hammer or his hand or whatever. Anyway, he hits her over the head. Yeah. He hits her over the head and she goes flying down the stairs. And so we would assume this is probably his first kill in a decently long time, I would assume.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure I don't miss anything, because I think there was an older guy that walks in right after that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
That's her husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's her husband. Okay.
Yeah, and it goes straight from that to them getting the house, doesn't it?
No, it cuts from this. First, it cuts to the husband, Jesse, painting a picture. In his garage, I think like it's studio. Then the door comes up. His daughter comes in. Then the wife comes in. They have a short conversation. Oh, you haven't showered yet? Because they're apparently getting ready to go to buy the house. And then it cuts to a cool scene where you have like they're driving the car, and you have like the metal music starting.
I love this scene.
The daughter and the father are starting to headbang until the music really kicks in, and then driving the car headbanging the whole time. And the mom is sitting on the other side trying to prevent herself from laughing, like, "You weirdos." Pretty cool scene, though.
Yeah, it's funny too, because there's a nice little heavy metal joke here too, because the song that's playing is Static X. It's from a band called Static X, and
Yes.
it's a pretty riffy song. I don't know if you'd really call this like heavy metal because it's more industrial than anything else, but it's heavy, right? And she
New metal,
says,
actually. Yeah.
"Could we maybe listen to something a little less heavy?" And the daughter goes, "You mean like Metallica?" The dad's like, which if you're a metalhead, you get that joke because metalheads loved Metallica until they went soft, and now everybody uses them as kind of a joke for bands that sold out, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but you see the family dynamic here, and I think the family dynamic is cool because how many metalheads have families like this? Plenty.
Not many. Huh?
No, dude, plenty.
Really?
I don't know how it is over here, but like,
Well,
there's always that guy who like loves heavy metal and loud music, and his wife is usually the exact opposite.
yeah, but usually it's the wife and the kids.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. Yeah, the
That's-
fact that this guy's got a little daughter that loves everything about him and the music that he listens to is like, you can tell this little girl's his world, right?
Yeah. Chemistry between those two actors is amazing.
Yeah,
You fully
it is
believe
really good.
that is a parent and their child.
And by the way, we didn't do the name butchering, Mike.
No, we haven't done that yet. Do you want to do it now, or we just
Fuck
leave it?
yeah, because we can't like miss these guys' names because this little girl is like one of the coolest fucking actors I've ever seen.
Okay, then we'll go.
I
then
love
we'll
her, dude. She's...
Okay, so we're going to do the name butchering in the middle of the movie. Okay.
Yes, I'm going to have this ready.
Okay, fine. Okay, then let's start out with the cast. We have Ethan Embry, who plays Jesse Hellman, the father, the husband of the family. We have Sherry Appleby. That one I probably mispronounced.
You did. It's Appleby. So
Appleby. Okay. Appleby. Good. Played Astrid Hellman. We have Pruitt Taylor Vince, who plays Ray Smiley. Kiara Glasgow playing Zoe. Tony Amendola, who plays Leonard. Leland Orzer plays Preacher.
Leonard,
What?
What was the name you just said?
Leland Orzer.
It's probably wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Then we have how the other guy. We have Oren Landa, who plays Deputy Hernandez.
Okay.
And after that, we have like the basic, I would say, the side characters. Now I could go through all of them. There's quite a few, but those are like the main actors in the movie. Yeah.
And the director was who again?
Sean Byrne.
Okay.
That was the director. Exactly.
Okay. Cool. That was only 2 shots. That's not too bad. There's only 2 names you butchered. All right. So yeah, the family is now at the house that they're going to check out, right? So there was no like talk of them moving into a new place, but now we know that they're going to look at a new house. If you're watching close enough, you realize though, the minute that they pull up to the house, that it's the house that we saw at the beginning of the movie. But you really had to look close because they didn't show the whole house, which was also pretty smart. They go up, they meet the realtor. It's your typical dude in a cowboy hat because we're in Texas, obviously. I'm assuming this is probably Georgetown, Texas, which is right down the street from Austin because it looks like it. And so they meet him. He's your typical realtor guy who's all smiles and like, oh, it's a great house. And I can picture this place being your bedroom. And I can picture a whole, like, selling it to the family. And of course, they're eating it up because this house has a lower price, right? This is not a super expensive house.
Yeah.
They, of course, have kind of secretly been wondering why it's so low. And this is where he comes out with, okay, so we have something we need to talk about. There were 2 deaths here. The mother, this is also great color. The mother looks down at Zoe and is like, hey, would you mind going outside and getting paperwork from the car for me? Because we need to fill some stuff out. And daughter doesn't miss it a beat. She's like, if you want me to fuck off, just say so.
Yeah.
Like, me and Mike don't have kids. So I don't really have a frame of reference, but there's not much you can get by kids, right? Especially not stuff like this.
No, and especially not at that age. They know everything.
Yeah.
But the intro of this made me think, if we had like equality and fair housing prices, how many of these horror movies would not exist?
That's a really good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. Along with a lot of other things about society that should probably be corrected.
Yeah.
I could talk about that for hours.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they decide to take the house, even though he tells them the story about a wife that fell down the stairs and a husband that could not live without her and obviously committed suicide. Right? The husband looks at the wife and says, "Hey, come over here. Let's talk for a minute." He brings her over. There's this really cool exchange between these two. Like the chemistry between the wife and the husband is also really good. Like he jokes around with her about, "Hey, do you hear that? Like, wait, shh, do you hear that?" And like, there's the sound of some ghost or evil spirit or something. And then he makes some sound to scare her, and she's like, "Shut the fuck up, stop." You know, like, it's just cool chemistry between these two.
Yeah.
And so obviously they've decided to take the house.
Shortly after that, there's a discussion between the father and the mother about if they're going to buy the house or whatever. Yeah. I think that's what you're referring to, Matt, or?
Yeah, I think that's what the conversation's about. But what I'm trying to get at is, did they decide to buy the house then? Like, does the viewer know that? Because I forgot.
I think so by the end of that conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the focus switches from whether they need the house to like him needing a studio.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems to be the main reason that they're getting it, is so that he can have his studio that he needs.
Yeah. Because the other thing we didn't mention is the mom. I'm not really sure what it is the mom does, but he's a stay-at-home painter. Like he does paintings for like different companies and stuff if he gets commission, and that's why he needs a studio, right?
Yeah.
The next scene cuts back to our boy who killed the woman at the beginning of the movie, and he has escaped. So apparently he killed this woman in the house and then got away. We don't know. It still is unclear to me who these two people were. And do they mention it again in the film? Because I don't think they do.
The only thing I remember is when they're buying the house, that it's mentioned that 2 people were killed, and I assumed it was now 2 people that the main antagonist killed. But other than that, I don't remember them being mentioned again in the movie.
I was thinking it might have been his parents, actually.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I don't know if it's confirmed as that.
Yeah, I don't think it was. But I that's what I'm going to assume for the rest of the movie, is that he killed his parents after he got back from the mental institution, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So this guy's gotten away and he's gone to a local hotel. He's still wearing the same outfit he was wearing the night of the murders that we just saw.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like just creeping around the outside of the hotel, like sticking his head in the window. The clerk behind the desk is really weirded out because this guy's behavior is really off. And eventually he comes to the desk and hands the guy a wad of money without saying, "I need a room," or whatever. But apparently they gave the guy a room, because that's the last we see of that scene. We don't really know. The next scene we get is the mother and the husband sitting down outside. He's having a cigarette. She's drinking. She's got a lot of worries and fears about the new house. None of the imagery kicks in for these opening parts. I think it's kept very sanitized for a reason. Like there's nothing wrong with this family. They're like an average, normal, everyday loving family. And he's joking with her about, "Hey, there's really nothing to worry about. Can you believe we actually have a house? We'll never have to look at that view ever again. There's a lot of happiness here," right? Which is kind of cool. And then they start moving in.
The montage when they're moving in and everything. Mm-hmm.
It's just one big montage of them moving in. Of course, set to a band that I wanted to look up because I've never heard this band before. I wouldn't really call it metal, but it's pretty good. Like it's a little bit more poppy metal, but the reason they chose the band is because of the song title. And the song title that they keep saying is "Going to Die, Going to Die, Going to Die." So it's a little bit of color in there that's brilliant because the song is really upbeat, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's got that same phrase over and over and over again. So it's a little bit of foreshadowing, right?
Now, how do you guys feel about montages in general? You rather we just skip to the next part, or do you enjoy it?
What
Well-
montages?
Yeah.
I would say
It depends on how it's done.
Depends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought
Just
here
look-
was done well because I think you have like this family moving in. Without the montage, it would just be like them going instantly from driving up to the house and now they're in. Now they moved in.
Sure.
I think in a case like this, the montage specifically gives it a more. It adds more to the family vibe, to the happy family vibe. You know, that's why I think
Yeah.
in this movie, I would say it works pretty much good. But when it comes to montages, I would just say it depends because there might be movies where it's just, you know, pointless because the movie could just easily just cut from one thing to the next and the montage adds like literally nothing. No?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
one thing like, I mean, even Team America made fun of that, you know, specifically that in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 I've seen them used as just time fillers. I've reviewed a movie recently. I don't remember the name of it. It had 3 montages in it. And it's
Wow.
like, guys, just cut 20 minutes off your movie. Like, these serve no purpose. Like, just make it a shorter film.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
what movie was that? Can I ask?
I'd have to look up the review where I mentioned
Okay.
it. I do like 2 or 3 reviews per day, so it gets
Okay.
hard for me to remember.
I feel like montages are okay, kind of like Mike said, if they help tell the story. You know what I mean? Like, if it's something you didn't want to last 30 minutes to see, if they can show it to you in a montage, then you get the point. So it's cool. Like, what was the other movie that did that, Mike, that we did? It was Dawn of the Dead, the remake. There's a montage in the middle
yes,
in the
exactly.
mall
Yeah.
where you kind of
Mhm.
see them together eating food and like being kind of a family, but it went by in 20 seconds, so it was useful, right?
Right.
And if you
Yeah.
took it out of the movie, you would lose that context completely.
That's true.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
I mean, if they would have done the original Dawn of Dead, that movie could have also been short for like 45 minutes shorter.
exactly. That fucking movie was so goddamn long, dude. Fuck.
But yeah.
Brilliant movie, but yes, way too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so next scene we get him, the main antagonist. He's in his hotel room doing the guitar thing again, right? Keeping everybody fucking awake.
Yeah.
And so obviously somebody called the police on him because you can't have a marshal turned up full blast in the middle of the night at a hotel, right? Or motel, actually, is what this is. Cop comes to the door, says, "Hey, what's going on? Would you mind opening the door so I can see a little bit closer what's going on?" He opens the door a little bit, and the cop's like, "Well, you probably know why I'm here, right?" This guy really doesn't say a whole lot. He just kind of nods at everything. He's like, "Yeah, I'm here because of a noise complaint, and I really don't want to have to come back here because if I come back here, I'm going to have to arrest you." As the cop is talking to him and as he's trying to explain these things to him, you slowly start to hear the voice and the chant take over the sound of everything else going on. So this is what you get in this guy's head. Like if he's not doing this with the guitar and drowning out the sound of this, then it overtakes everything that he hears. And when that happens, he's got to do his thing, right?
Yeah, and I think that was such a simple and effective way to put us inside of his mind. And we get to see like how long in between turning the noise off, how long until he gets taken over. It gives us everything we really need to know just in that little bit. And then it moves on. And I think it's super effective. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is also, it's good you mentioned that. This is one of the things that will complain a lot about with horror movies is that your audience is not stupid. I mean, most of them are not, right? So you don't need to explain everything to death.
Right.
Yeah.
This movie does a great job of explaining everything without saying anything. And I think that's one of the strengths.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The cool thing is it's all done with sound design too. Almost all of it.
Mhm.
So from the heavy metal music to everything that's going on in the background, there's auditory cues throughout this movie about what's happening or what's about to happen, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, that scene kind of cuts off in the middle of you hearing this chant going. And the next scene is the dad driving the daughter to school. Like the night before, they talked about the fact that she was going to have to change schools. And that was probably going to fuck her up because they're moving to a new house. Dad was like, she's a tough kid. She's going to be fine. Right. So now he's dropping her off at school. I love their chemistry in this scene again. This is just them, father and daughter. They're playing heavy metal music all the way to school. They get there. He lets her out. She's wearing a Slayer t-shirt. By the way, this Slayer t-shirt is very hard to get. This is one that you can't find anymore. So I'd really love to know where they found it. Like if you look it up, that t-shirt alone, if it's not a reproduction, is probably worth a couple grand. It's a
Nice.
pretty famous t-shirt back. So he drops her off at school and he says, hey, I'll be here at a certain time to pick you up. And he gives her the devil horns and she gives him the devil horns and that's it. Drops her off at school. The dad comes back home and this is where we get this fucking scene that you were talking about earlier. So this scene, this next one is the one where we start to see it affect the father a little bit for the first time. So this is kind of the first time you realize, okay, maybe something's going on here rather than just mental illness. He walks into the house. This is also the first time we see the stained glass cross that's on the door behind him, right?
Mhm.
And there's a small little blink and you miss it thing here. When he closes the door, it's a little bit like the Exorcist effect from the first Exorcist film where there's a flash of something. And if you don't watch it, you'll miss it. He opens the door and closes it. And as the door closes slowly, you see the sign of the pentagram in the cross as it closes. And there's the only reason I caught it is I just happened to be staring at the screen at that time. But they put it there for a split second. And if you're not looking, you'll miss it, right? So there's your first hint. He walks in and all you see is the back of his shirt kind of walking in the into the hall. And then you hear the chanting. Really, really, really low chanting, almost to where you can't barely hear it, but he notices it. And it's coming from upstairs in Zoe's room. Something's kind of pushing him up the stairs to that area. So he comes up the stairs, and this is the first time that we get to see him come up the stairs where his eyes are a little bit darker, right? This is that stretch scene that you were talking about earlier. And he comes up and he goes to a poster that's on her wall. I felt like this was a little bit of a metalhead joke as well because the band is Ghost. And they are known to be kind of a over the top, old school satanic type of metal band, right? So it's funny that the upside down cross is on the wall right behind the Ghost thing. Anyway, he pulls the poster off and you see the spot where the cross used to be on the wall. And that's your hint that, oh shit, this is the exact same house that we saw at the beginning of the movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So after that scene, for whatever reason, he's I think he's just going back to his studio to paint, right? As it would be a normal day. But as he gets there, the chanting comes back again and it's pushing him to paint something. And he doesn't know why, but he gets inspiration out of nowhere and then starts painting something. We don't really see what this thing he's painting is until his wife comes home. Now, when he went inside of the studio, it was daylight outside and he had just dropped his daughter off at school. This painting, like I paint, right? This would not have taken me all day. That's the only issue I have with this because this is just like a bunch of negative space upside down cross with a bunch of paint around it. This would have taken your average person maybe like a good 10 minutes to paint, but it's dark when his wife gets there. So He was painting this negative space upside down cross all day. Probably why he can't find any work. Just saying.
Yeah, that's your turnover rate.
Yeah.
I mean, I resonated with that. Like, I've never done what he's done in the film, but like sometimes I get lost into writing, and my kids come tell me it's dinner, and I'll be like, I'll be there in a second, and then they come tell me it's bedtime, and I was like, oh, my bad, I didn't know I was up here for 4 hours.
Yeah, that's creative. Like creative personalities, just in general, whether you're a writer or somebody who does artwork or any type. If you're in that process and you're locked in, it could be days that go by.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with writing music. Like if you're into writing music or the process of creating music for a band, you could sit and work on something that feels like it's maybe took you an hour, but it's actually been about 7 because you found that part of your brain that's really tickled by doing that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's never amazed me either that people that are really into horror and like the aspects of horror filmmaking are usually generally pretty creative.
Yeah, I would think so. Like,
yeah,
I think that horror inspires that though, because it's so much of how did they do that? Like, there's so many questions involved with it. And I think it kind of sparks that a little bit. Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing too, is looking at something, especially like this film. For somebody who's into action films or somebody who needs to have a lot of action to be able to enjoy a film, this movie would be horribly boring for a lot of people.
Yes.
And I can see that, right? But for somebody like me, there's so many things going on in the background and so many feelings and like all this creativity that went into making this, like it locks you in and you're able to like think about it. So it doesn't feel like it goes by slow, right?
Right.
No. Music does the same.
What I actually like, specifically movies like this. I mean, even though it's not action, I'm definitely going to rewatch this movie. But I've seen it now like this once, but I just have a feeling this is like a movie where I'm going to watch this movie like 6 times, and every single time I watch the movie, I'm going to notice. Mm-hmm. I'm going to notice something different, you know, and because this time I watched it was very clearly, all the metal references, he has a metalhead and a musician. That's kind of like what came out for the most part for me from this movie. But I mean, it's just like, I guarantee you when I watch it a second time, it's probably going to be more of all the supernatural stuff that sticks out to me. That's what I just like specifically about this movie. That you said there are so much things that are interconnecting that you don't really get all of it the first time you watch them.
No. It's a lot like The Exorcist in that way. I know Mike's The Exorcist is not one of Mike's favorite movies.
It's not. I would say for a lot of Germans, it's not the favorite horror movie. Because maybe it's the cultural aspect. Because in a lot of European countries, specifically in Germany, even though it's a Christian country, I mean, the Germans aren't really very that strictly into religion. It's like a lot of people are Christians. You go to church or you don't or whatever. So when it comes to watching movies, a lot of Germans don't really have the Christian aspect or the Christian fears in watching the movie. And it was the same like for me, I was already in Germany. I was like 16 when I saw this movie the first time. And all of my friends were also around that age. And we were all sitting there watching this movie because we heard that it caused a real thing in the States. And a lot of people were afraid of it or whatever. And we were all sitting there watching it. And we're like, why are people afraid of this movie? The demon is just literally shit talking and puking at everybody.
It did. It broke the back of the poor woman playing her mother.
Yeah. But I mean, compared to other movies, it was like for a lot of Germans, it was not understandable why this movie caused that much of an outrage in the States. Not that I'm saying like it's not scary at all, but it's just like looking back on that, because me and my friends, we went into the movie with that in our minds. because we knew that this caused this big hysteria, and the States when it came out, we were like, I mean, it's not that bad.
Yeah. I think it's hard to do it after the fact too, because like I did that same thing going into Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, oh, this was banned forever. It's going to be gnarly. And I watched it and I was like, I mean, it's a good movie, but like, it's not anything to write home about.
Yeah. That's the thing. I think horror hits everybody differently. The reason I bring up The Exorcist is because that movie played off as the same kind of fears that this one plays off of. It's satanic imagery, evil spirits, things that really scare Christians to death. That's why The Exorcist had the effect it did. But if you're somebody that really doesn't have that cultural concept, then the context is lost. So for a lot of people that are not really, let's say, atheists that weren't raised in the church, don't have the same kind of fears, this movie wouldn't do anything for them, you know?
Yeah.
But just like The Exorcist, and I think that's something brilliant about this film, there are little things that happen, like the pentagram I mentioned earlier, that's just like the face of Pazuzu that happens when the mom turns out the lights upstairs.
Yeah.
Like there's things like that happen in this film, and I feel like it just kind of borrows that from The Exorcist, and I think that it fits so well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same kind of.
I'm really surprised that like subliminal imagery or whatever isn't used in horror more often. It's a cool little effect you can do if you know how to use it properly.
Yeah. There are still films that do it, but do you think maybe it has something to say about the, like, what do you, what is the English word for it? The attention span. The attention span of people. I feel like we're losing that slow burn horror thing that was so cool about Alien and The Thing and all those movies that took a long time to like tell the story. People's attention span is gone, and like the less of an attention span you have, the less things you're going to know. So kids nowadays, if they watch The Exorcist, that probably does nothing for them.
That's true,
right? Because it's boring for them.
Well, and I mean, a director recently said that I think Netflix, one of their conditions is you have to restate the plot like 3 times during the movie. Because people are watching movies on their phone now. Like they're on their phone, the movie's playing over here. And like, I don't know how you're supposed to deal with that as someone who makes films.
Yeah. I don't think we should.
True.
Should we care? Honestly, I mean, like, okay, I get it. You want your film to be received and seen by a bunch of people. And if the younger generation are all watching their movies on their phones, then yeah, that can be a big issue. But I wouldn't want to sacrifice my vision or my art just so that a couple of kids that want to watch it on their phone are going to watch it on their phone.
True. But the producers who are paying for your movie might care. And they might make you change a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. That's true. I just hate it though, man, because I think I always go back to this, but I think that's why Alien 3 was such a hated film. Because the studio didn't have enough faith in the original story and what they thought that film was going to be. And so they came up with their own idea about it and how to film it. And it was just, I mean, it wasn't awful, but it definitely wasn't the original idea for the film.
No. Yeah. And I mean, I don't dislike the film, but I'm always angry at the film because like they got rid of Newt in the first like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, we just spent the whole last movie like. But yeah, I
can't remember if that was David Fincher's idea or not.
Okay.
But that was by far one of the stupidest things you could have done going into that, because everybody cared about those 2 characters at the end of part 2.
Yeah.
I don't get decisions like
no idea.
Blows my mind.
I know that they do like test audiences and stuff like that, and then sometimes movies change entirely based on what those people say.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's frustrating.
I don't know. Test audience thing is weird. Did you ever get to be in a test audience? No. I did it one time. And I don't know. I don't know what the experience is for everybody else, but we got like half the film. So we got it was the whole film for the whole runtime, but the special effects were not there. I'm not going to say what film it was, but the special effects were not there. There were pieces of the dialogue that were missing, stuff like that, and it didn't test well. And at the end, I was like, "No shit, it didn't test well. Half the fucking film is missing."
Right.
So how can
sounds-
you trust a test audience if they're only getting like a half-finished film?
It's
You
true.
know?
Mm.
I don't know.
I mean, it's somewhat similar in my position. I will get films that they're put in the email like this. The effects aren't finished yet. The volume mixing isn't finished yet, and it's same thing. It's like, okay, so you want me to judge this piece of media as what it's supposed to be or what it is? Like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
I can't.
Right.
I wouldn't feel like that was fair at all. Like I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that for this podcast either. Like if somebody sent me something that was half done, I'd probably do the same thing. I'd be like, hit me up when it's finished, man. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to dish your film for not being done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's so different for like metal musicians either, though. Somebody will send you like a demo of some shit that they did, be like, dude, tell me what you think. And you're like, maybe hit me up when it's mixed, dude. You know? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think this film is effective, would probably be more effective than The Exorcist, even if you didn't have kind of a Christian background, because there's so many things that happen in this film that are just so fucking evil. And this next scene is one of those things too. And this is another subliminal image thing. What you're seeing is somebody's knocking at the door, right? And the little girl hears it. So she goes up to the door, but there's nobody there. She sees something in the distance kind of walking up, and the guy's wearing a red jumpsuit. So, or like a red tracksuit. And so he's in the distance behind this cross walking up. And because stained glass is double paned on both sides, his image is like this.
Mhm.
But instead of just being duplicated, it's duplicated on one side and the other. And then underneath, it's duplicated this way. So again, he's creating a pentagram walking towards the window. And I thought that was
Nice.
so cool because there's no way that they could have achieved that effect with CGI. Like they had to triple pane the glass just to get that effect.
Yeah.
So it's really fucking cool.
Mm.
He shows up at the door. I guess the parents are not real good about like explaining to their kid about maybe don't talk to strangers that show up at your front door that look shifty, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah. You live out in the country, like there shouldn't even be anybody knocking at your door.
No. This is shifty as fuck, man. This guy shows up, his eyes are all crazy, and he starts saying things to her that make no sense. He says, "I need to come home."
Yeah.
And she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, did you used to live here?" And he doesn't answer. He looks at her arm because there's a Flying V guitar on her arm, right?
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, I have one just like that." And instead of being weirded out by this guy, which anybody would have been, she starts talking to him about guitars and like her dad said he was going to get her one and blah, blah, blah. And the whole time this guy's just standing there. This girl has now been at the door for around 30 seconds without her parents realizing what is going on. If he wanted to snap her up, he could have done it.
Yeah.
But he didn't. Dad and mom walk up to the front, realize that the shifty guy is talking to their daughter, and immediately do the right thing, which is get the fuck out of here, leave, shut the door on him. The guy starts ringing the doorbell again. This father bugs me a little bit too, because he's not exactly, I don't know, like not forceful enough with this dude.
Yeah. He doesn't.
He gets
hit
bitched
hard.
at with his wife after the fact for being too mean, but I don't think this dude was mean.
No, not for the situation they're placed in. I'm like you just said, that dude could have easily ran off with their kid.
Yeah.
But I think that's a problem with the father character is like his lack of or his inability to take action. But
Yeah.
the movie shows us that not just in those dangerous moments, but I mean with his career, it becomes clear that way that he's indecisive. He has a hard time making action.
Yeah.
And I think that that's cool that it's not just there. They show it through his whole personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very consistent. He's consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this guy rings the doorbell a whole bunch of times as he's screaming at him to go away. The guy finally quits ringing the doorbell and leaves. Right. It bugged me a little bit. They do not bother calling the police after. You notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no indication that they told anybody about this, even though it was hinted by this guy that he used to live there.
Right.
So there should have been a call to the police, but there wasn't. Mistake number one. This is where we get a little bit more of a montage, and I feel like this one is needed. This is one of like a priest on TV. I guess you would call him an evangelist. And he's talking about the devil and what the devil is and how many different names the devils have, how the devil has, how many cultures have the devil, what the devil was called in that culture. So this is almost spoon feeding the audience a little bit, which normally I don't like, but this is so effective that it's good. If that makes
it's
sense.
a great way of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I love the preacher person. I love all of his segment. Like, it's so good. That old school fire and brimstone.
Catholic. Yeah. It's good though. I feel like I've seen this actor before as well. I don't know who he is, but he's a horror actor.
He's a horror actor. He's played multiple things. I mean, this actor specifically plays in a lot of TV shows. That's where his main work was in. The two biggest things he's played in beyond this was Star Trek Voyager and Alien 4 Resurrection. He was actually the guy.
That's right. That's where I know this dude from.
He was the guy that picked up and that had a xenomorph embryo implanted. Was impregnated with a xenomorph embryo, and they wanted to put him in hypersleep.
Right, and then it ended up coming out of him anyway. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. He was also in 7. This is the guy who ends up.
50.
He was made to have sex with the girl with the knife. You remember that?
Oh, really? That's the same guy.
That's the same guy. And the reason it's weird to see him like this, and that's why I didn't know who it was, because what he's good at, that actor, is good at freaking.
Yes. Yeah. Totally.
Everything you see him in, he's freaking out. Like he's panicking and trying to explain something as he's freaking out. And that's what he does in every movie. This is the first one I've seen him in where he's like calm.
Nice.
Yeah.
You did a great job.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's who that was. That's why I didn't recognize him. Okay. So there's a whole bunch more of this movie right now. That not a whole lot of stuff happens, but it just basically explains to you that the little girl is not doing well at school, although we don't see any of that. Like she's not having a good day at school. When she comes back home, he's struggling with his paintings as well. There is what would you call this? The guy that he wants to accept his paintings. I can't remember what you would call these people in English.
Like in
Kunsthändler. In German.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to think of the English word.
Art dealer? Is that? Well, that would be the literal translation.
It would be someone who sponsors you to do your art for art galleries.
Patron.
Yeah, something like that.
That's the most thing I can think of.
Yeah. So this guy is obviously like a famous art dealer or patron or guy who puts on big art shows, right? And if you, as an artist, get picked up by one of these people, you basically made it. Because they're just going to put your art all over the world at different exhibits, and you're going to make money, and you're going to get more well-known. Mm-hmm. He has obviously tried to get this guy to take his art before, but this guy has said no. And now he's running back to this guy's office with his most recent painting on a disc. And he's telling the woman, hey, I need you to show him this because this piece right here spoke through me. I painted it, but it wasn't me doing it. It was like I was being told to do this. And that immediately snaps her into, okay, maybe there is something to this. I get the feeling, though, and tell me if you guys got this too, that this art organization is actually run by probably Satan himself, or at least...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, considering the fact with him driving up to the where the company is and you see Belial,
I missed that.
You didn't see that one.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
missed that.
he drives up to the company, and you can clearly see the company sign, and it says Belial. And I'm not an expert on this, but I'm pretty sure that's something occult, something satanic, or whatever. I can't. I think it's a demon, or
it
something,
is.
right?
It's a demon.
No?
It's one of the demons. I forget. Like Satan has a circle of demons that support him. Belial's one
The
of them.
Prince of the Town.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I completely see what I mean. If you have to go back and watch the movie a few times, you miss shit. I did not know that sign was there.
No, me either.
Okay.
I did pick up on it though. It seems like the whole studio is evil.
Yeah.
Especially with the later interaction that's about to come up when he does.
Right. Right. So yeah, he gives her the disc. She kind of looks at it and gets a smile on her face and says, "Sure, like I'll see what I can do," is all she says, because she has to run it through her boss. So he goes okay and starts going back home. The next scene we get is that fucking scene with the dog where I thought the dog was going to get killed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And doesn't. Thank goodness. Unfortunately, something else really horrible happens. But it's a very effective scene. Extremely dark. These two kids are playing at the playground. Our antagonist drives up in his car and is watching these two kids play with the dog. The dog runs off into the woods, which is obviously where he is now, watching the kids. So you think the dog's going to get offed. One of the kids comes after the dog. He obviously hits this kid in the head with a rock, even though you don't see it, because that kid never comes back out of the woods, right? And then you see this cute little blonde, looks like he's probably 5-year-old kid, swinging back and forth on the swing. And as the swing goes up, you don't see the guy there. And as it comes back down, you see him right behind the kid with a big rock, and he's coming down on the kid's head. Rough fucking scene to watch. I don't like it when kids get hurt in movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think much. Me neither.
It really sets the stakes for the rest of the movie, though. Like, you now know what is going to be happening if this person isn't stopped.
Yeah.
I think that they handled that as classily as you can. There wasn't any gore. We don't hear like the kid screaming for 10 minutes. I think that they handled that subject matter pretty well. Yeah,
they did. There's tasteful ways to do it, and that was it. The thing that makes it the most effective, though, one, you don't see the kid's brain get bashed in, which is great, but the next scene you see is what the father painted on the other painting of butterflies that he had, which is that kid's face, right?
Yeah.
And it's beautiful how they marry this up, because you go from the rock coming down on the kid's head that you don't see to immediately seeing his face, but kind of a dead version of his face in the painting that the father is painting. Highly effective, very fucked up. I don't know, just beautifully shot, really well done. I would also like to know if this is a real painting, like if somebody still has this painting somewhere, because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I never thought about that. I bet they probably do.
Yeah, it's probably sitting in a studio somewhere.
But all of that is just what we were talking about before. Just that scene is them showing, not telling.
Yeah.
You get everything you need to know from that little clip. No words need to be spoken.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, I don't know, man. That's just a much more effective way of doing it. If you show somebody something, then you take away all the mystery, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I think the two movies that probably do that the best are Alien and Jaws. Because you go through most of the movie without seeing the creatures at all until the end. So your imagination is allowed to work with what you think the creatures might look like most of the movie, and that's enough to carry you through.
Yeah.
Anyway, so because this father got stuck painting again for hours, he is late picking his daughter up from school, right?
Yeah.
So he gets back to the school, and she's sitting outside up against the wall by herself, obviously pissed off at him. I'm not a parent, but I imagine like every parent has had to deal with this with their kid, like being really upset with them,
Yeah.
like arms crossed.
Yes.
Yeah. And so she's pissed off at him. She won't talk to him. He says, look, this will never happen again. I'm sorry I got wrapped up in my painting. At least he's honest with her. Like, he doesn't give her some bullshit excuse.
Yeah.
Like, there's obviously some pretty clear communication between these two. And she basically forgives him. She says, swear on my life that this will never happen again. And he says, yes, I swear. Huh?
He says my grave, not my life.
Oh, grave. Right.
Yeah.
So he does. And, of course, the thing that we missed is that in the morning before he took her to school, the Flying V guitar and the Marshall amp was outside of the house because the guy left it for her. Right?
Yeah.
And before he took her to school, he's like, I don't think you can keep that. Like, it would not be a good idea for you to keep that. And now that he's forgotten her and he has to make it up to her, she says, okay, am I going to be able to keep the guitar and the amp now? And of course, because he fucked up, he says yes. Right?
Yeah. And I mean, I wouldn't say no to that. Like, that's expensive equipment sitting on your front door.
Yeah, but
Just leave it there.
I mean, considering the fact you don't know much about this guy and he's creepy, who knows how he will act if you accept the present.
That's true. I guess
Yeah.
my thought would be if you leave it on your porch, somebody could steal it, and then he might be also upset.
True.
That's true too.
Yeah.
That's
But-
true too.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have let her keep it or not. Probably not, because then that gives this guy an excuse to come back. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Whereas if you leave it there, then he really has no excuse to knock on your door again. If that would have stopped this guy, I doubt it, but whatever.
Right.
So here again, the next scene is another one of those montages, but this is fucking brilliant. I love this. So this is a mix-up of what the main antagonist is doing to a child without showing it to you, and then showing you the father painting and using specifically the color red to paint, right? And so you'll see something happen that goes across the screen that may be a brush stroke, or it may be paint spilling on a paper, or it may be blood, and you're not really sure which one it is. And so you see the guy with his hacksaw, which this is a really difficult scene to watch too, because the kid is screaming. He's wrapped up in tape in a plastic bag, and you know that this guy is about to cut this kid up with a hacksaw, right?
Yeah.
And so when he sets to work, you also see the father set to work on the painting, and it's just a montage of red. And it's fucking disturbing. I don't really know any other way to say it. It's highly effective without really showing you shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember it making me just feel really tense the entire time.
Yeah. A little bit sick to your stomach. Like I can handle a lot of things, but not knowing what you're saying at the same time that you know a live child was being cut up with a hacksaw is pretty like gut churning for me, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the montage, you see one thing. You see a brush put red paint across something and then go into a cup. And you also see a bloody mop in a bathtub soaking up blood. And so you know what's happened to the kid. Like, nobody stopped it. And then they kind of do a close-up on that child's face again that they showed you earlier, the child that just died in the painting. And then it zooms out from the painting to show you the whole thing and the father standing in front of it, silhouetted against it. And now we see 4 different children and 4 different faces. and one of them is his daughter, right?
Yeah, burning.
So I have to. What was this guy thinking when he was painting this? Like, he had to have, or was he not? That's the
No,
thing.
I mean, I had a feeling if you looked by what he says and how he describes it to his wife, like he felt like they're all inside of them and they're acting
Yeah.
through him. If you specifically how much he was when he was drawing the paintings, it feels more like he's in a trance.
Yeah.
And once he snaps out of it, he didn't really remember what it. And he specifically mentioned in one of the paintings that he did not remember he painted it, like the first one with
Right.
the black thing, whatever. So I just think
Right.
like it's kind of the question, like that Luna brought up pretty much at the beginning. One is basically there are two receivers, nah. One has to use the music to make the voices go away. And by this guy, he's not even aware that he's hearing these voices, but they're kind of using him as a vessel. You
Right.
know, that's why he doesn't really remember things or whatever. But
Right.
it kind of, just brings up for me the question. The one guy, the antagonist, clearly what they're using him for, but from the demon, devil, whatever these supernatural forces are, it's unclear to me what they're using the father for, what his purpose is. For the
Right.
that is a good question. That is even up to the end of the movie that I could not really figure out for myself.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question, dude. I didn't even think about that. What is
Yeah.
his purpose in the whole thing? Because he's not doing anything evil. As a matter of fact, the messages that he got were all about who the kids were and where they were. Because at the end of the movie, we see that he was basically tipped off about where they were buried.
I
Yeah.
think that in my mind, it was a metaphor for the music, in the sense that it can be used for both. Like metal is looked at as violent or evil or whatever, but
Yeah.
as we see it here, metal can be a loving family, or metal
Yeah.
can be child murderer.
Yeah.
But and that's kind of how I saw it. Is both these people have the same influence placed upon them, with completely different outcomes.
Yeah.
But that is just a wild speculation on my part.
No,
Yeah.
that's actually cool. I didn't think of that. I wonder, like, what his purpose in the paintings is in all this, unless because we know that this group of people that he's trying to impress with his art to get his art out to studios and different showings and stuff have some evil background. So maybe it's kind of like your personification of Satan and the devil in different writings and stuff. Satan is very proud of the evil that he does, right? So of course he would want it on display in some way.
That's
So
true.
that's one way I was thinking of this, is almost like
Yeah.
how serial killers want to be caught so that people know what they did and they want to be famous. So it's kind of that kind of thing, maybe.
No, I can see
Yeah,
that.
that's
Really
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just a lot of different ways that this could go. And I think that's very telling of the movie and
Yeah.
like how they wrote it and how they filmed it. It's just brilliant. Like you really don't know, but there are different things you can think about that will make sense if you pick one of them, The next scene that we get is him actually painting the demon itself, right? So he's in bed and he gets more visions of I think this might be the first time. He's in bed and he gets visions of his daughter burning to death,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
This prompts him to get up, and I think he gets up because he wants to destroy the painting. I think he wants to, whatever this is, he wants to stop it. So he heads back out into the studio, and when he gets there, I think this is the scene. Does he take a knife to this thing or try to take a knife to it?
Yeah, he tries to take a knife to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
is
yeah,
stopped
yeah.
by whatever reason.
I got it. He was being held back by the force. Like there was almost a physical thing there because he tries to, and then something stops his hand and actually moves it back because he looks at his hand like he can't control it.
Yeah.
So whatever the force was, it was keeping him from fucking it up. And then it gets in his head again and has him finish out the painting, right?
Yeah.
And as he finishes out the painting, he's in there all night. And there's this huge, almost like, I don't know, man. To me, it looks a little bit like the icon of sin from the original Doom is what this bone monster looks like.
Yeah.
It does, dude. I can't
It's
help.
really
it might
cool.
be the fact that I'm a huge fan, but it's kind of what it looks like, you know? Everybody remembers the icon of sin.
I think that particular demon thing that they use that's being fed like the souls of children or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's really smart because almost all cultures have something like that outside of Christianity. So that concept would be instantly recognizable regardless. And I think that's really
true.
smart.
That's true. That is smart.
True.
Yeah, you're right. I never even thought about that. Every culture does have that demon. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So he finishes the painting and does not go back to sleep because I think what happens next? Anybody got it?
No.
Mike? Well, hang on a second. My screen is frozen here and I know that something really shitty happens and I don't want to get it.
Yeah, isn't this yeah, I know what happens. It's because he's out painting. This is the scene where the antagonist encroaches on the daughter's space in her bedroom.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so and the daughter and the mother try to fight him off, and the dad is fucked off painting, so he can't help his family.
Right.
Yeah.
Fucked up scene because I think he wakes her up in her bed face to face with her, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's so creepy. But again, now we see the demon sending him out of the house or whatever the entity is, sending him out of the house so that the other guy can get in because he didn't lock the door.
Right. Or change the fucking locks.
Right.
Yeah, well, from this point on, there are a lot of decisions made by multiple characters in the movie where you kind of think either you're not sure if it's stupidity or incompetence.
Yeah.
No, because first thing with the locks. No, I mean, how the hell this guy did after the thing went down with the antagonist, and the family, they're at the cop station,
Yes.
and then the cops mentioned like, he must have had a key because he used to live here or whatever, and guys should replace the locks, and it might be a good decision to sleep at a motel tonight,
Yeah.
For some reason, the family decides to just go home.
Yeah. Yeah. I caught that. And not change the locks and not do anything about the fact that this guy can get into their house.
Yeah. Exactly.
I caught that too. Dude, I do not understand that.
And
this is the second time they've done this too, because the first time he showed up, they didn't call the cops. This time they did. The cops told him what they should do, and they didn't do it.
I had an idea on it, and you guys let me know if I'm incorrect.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm someone that has a problem with authority. And my understanding of the metal music group is they also have a problem with authority. So my thought was the dad doesn't want to involve the cops, doesn't want to listen to the cops because ACAB. Cops are fucking bastards. Now that's just theory.
Mm. Well, yes and no. I think a lot of the people that I know that are into this kind of music and are just generally nonconformists, me being one of them, I think it only goes to a certain point. Like, you're not going to tell me what to do, period, especially not in my own house. But if I know that the advice that you're giving me is sound and it's going to protect my family members, of course I'm going to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not like they didn't do just one or two things that the cop asked them to do. They literally didn't do all the common sense things that anybody would have done to protect their family, right? They stayed in the same house. They didn't change the locks. I guess they thought because she was outside that was going to be enough, But this, not to take anything from females or anything, but this is just one female.
Right.
There are two later, but her being out there
Yeah.
by herself against a man who, this is not a small guy. You know, he
Not
might
at
be
all.
Yeah, but she has a
out of
gun.
shape and overweight, but he's like 6'3", you know?
Yeah. I mean, she's got a gun, but he's got a rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Just depends on who gets their weapon out first, I guess.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. And because of their negligence in this whole thing, it doesn't go very well. And I mean, they're also really low on sleep. The dad has been sitting there in front of the window all night with his baseball bat, just watching outside. And, you know, he's a little bit listless and out of it. The wife comes and like taps him on the shoulder in the morning, and he like jumps up and almost hits her with the bat because he's completely out of it.
Yeah.
Right. And she says, you know, you really should go to sleep now. And he's like, I can't. Our daughter needs us. And at that point, she walks down the stairs and says, hey, I'm ready to go to school. And again, immediately the parents are like, no, you're not going to school today, which of course that's the fucking answer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got some fucking madman out to get you. If you're not safe here, you're not safe at school.
Right.
But because she insists, they let her go anyway. I don't think that this would have happened. Like, I know it's beside the point because it's a horror movie, but the police department would have not let their daughter go to school.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think they would.
no.
And that's something I kind of want to comment on. It seemed like the last 25% of this movie turns into kind of a standard horror flick, whereas the previous 75% was a very weird, very cool kind of thing. But this last section here,
it does. I got that from it too, but I think I can't even call it a criticism though, because I think it works.
mm-hmm.
I think it works for the movie. I think the first part of the film is kind of establishing the mood and establishing what's going on. But you've spent so much of the movie kind of teasing the audience and not explaining a whole lot in the interest of like the vibe that at this point you've only got a certain amount of time left. And if I look at it right, at this point you got 20 minutes left. No, 30 minutes left. And that's not even including credits. So you would almost have to rush it.
Yeah, that's true.
Just to tell the story. I don't like it either. Like, I mean, that's a pacing issue, and a lot of movies have that issue. But I think the movie's so effective, I didn't even notice it.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
right,
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
You're right, though. It is kind of like the drawing of the horse, where this part of it is perfect, and then once you get to this side, it's like a stick figure horse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what.
That's okay. That's okay. I don't think it. I'm not going to give it any points off for that because I had so much fun with this movie. So he stupidly drops his daughter off at the school and then immediately gets a call back from the secretary of the art dealer guy. And she says, hey, he's interested in seeing your artwork again. We'd like to see the piece you're working on right now. I have an appointment for you at 3:00. We want to come by your house. He says, I can't do that because I have to pick up my daughter from school.
Yeah.
The woman says, well, best I can do is 2:00. If you don't take that one, then that's your last chance. So he agrees. And this is the first time in this movie. I don't know if you caught this the first time. This is the first time in this movie that that the dad has changed his shirt into any other shirt that is not black. It's a white shirt. It's a white shirt, and on the shirt it says, find the thing you love and let it.
Nice.
Yeah. So that is such fucking awesome color, dude. Like, brilliant that they did that. Because that's essentially what he's doing. He found the thing that he loved and he's letting it kill him and his family now.
Yeah.
So he's there. This very ominous character comes in, and I don't know who this actor is, but I feel like I've seen him before too. The old guy, but he's very, very.
I know him from Stargate. That's why I see this actor.
Stargate? What the fuck, dude? Seriously?
Yeah,
Who
of
is
course. He plays Bratak. That's like the mentor of Teal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about, even though I've only seen like bits and pieces.
Yeah, I did that. That's what instantly I saw this guy. I thought of Starkey because this actor had a very prominent role in that. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in this role, I think this is the only one I've seen him in where he's creepy. Like, this is a very fucking Satan character. You get the feeling this might actually be Satan himself, right?
yes, absolutely, yeah.
So he comes in, he looks at the painting, and the only thing that you see, this is again this brilliant filmmaking thing that they got going on with the cinematography. You see his face, and it's all lit up, and the closer he gets to the painting, it sinks in on his eyes to where only the inside of his eyes are the things that are lit up, and everything else is in the shadow. And he puts on this crazy, nasty smile looking at this painting, like, this is it. This is what we wanted. So obviously this guy's got their business. He goes inside with the father to sit down and drink cognac to celebrate. They're sitting there drinking, and he's trying to convince the father to not go pick up his daughter and to sit there and keep drinking with him, right?
Yeah.
Which is exactly what you would expect the devil to do. Like,
Right.
and the whole point of this is for him to understand that if you want success, if you want to do well for yourself, if you want to be selfish, you have to be willing to sacrifice everything else that you care about, including the people closest to you. Which is a very Satan thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, he fights the urge and says, "No, you don't understand. I'm not going to get into it with you right now, but I do want this contract, but I do need to go pick up my daughter." Fine. And so he does. He takes off to go get his daughter. Unfortunately, his tire pops and he runs over a street sign. And I can imagine this scene was very hard to film and get it just right.
I imagine, yeah.
Did you see what he did with the fucking street sign?
No.
He ran over it and it got stuck underneath his car and jammed inside the axle and spun the car around the road.
Oh.
Like, it's hard for me to believe that was completely scripted that way, because that's a rough thing to do. I feel like they did multiple takes until they got it to do just that, because it's a cool scene.
Yeah. Now, do you think that happened like naturally, the tire popping, or is that a supernatural aspect?
Oh, I think that's definitely supernatural.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I
what
would take it that way too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, unless it's just shitty luck, but I mean,
Right.
because he was late picking her up, that's what allows her to get picked up by this guy, you know?
Yeah.
So I would say supernatural, definitely. He gets to the school, everything's dark, she's not there. Of course, he realizes, fuck, this guy's. Of course, they call the police are in tow, and now it's kind of a mad dash to go find her, right?
Yeah.
She is on the ground inside this guy's shitty motel, wrapped up in duct tape. He's sitting over her, kind of apologetic, but saying, well, now that you caused me all this trouble, I have to do that thing that he wants me to do, right? Which is cut her up with a saw and do the same thing he did with the other kids.
Yeah.
This is a difficult scene, man. Another one that I don't really like, because it's not that I don't like it because it's filmed poorly. It's not. It's very effective, and that's why I don't like it.
Right.
Because she is fucking helpless, dude. She's wrapped up in duct tape, and her screams are very, very legit sounding. This is a great actress. I would love to know what she does after this, because she's very believable. Although really smart, he leaves the room to go get his saw and put on his, trash bag to keep himself from getting dirty. And, she realizes that a piece of the tape that's around her hips is a little bit loose, right? And so the way that she's tied up, she's able to fit her hands through the bottom and kind of pick at the tape until she's able to get it off of her leg, right? Once she gets it a little bit off of her leg, she sticks it to the floor so that now she can roll. And as she rolls, it unravels itself because it's stuck to the floor. I just thought this was really cool how they did it.
Yeah, because they didn't, there was no box or the box machine or whatever. nothing saved her. There was no mysterious knife that she found or something. Just ingenuity.
It's just her ingenuity. This is a close call here. He's going about things really slowly. I don't know if you noticed that, but she's in there struggling and making a lot of noise. And he's just kind of slowly taking his shirt off, slowly picking up the saw. But it's almost like he's reluctantly doing this thing. I don't think he wants to. I think he's being forced to, and that's why he's not really, he's taking his time. And by the time he gets out there or into the bathroom where she is, she's already escaped. She's got completely out the window. The only thing that's sticking out is her foot. He runs in, grabs her foot, and ends up pulling her shoe off. So she gets away, right?
Yeah.
And so this causes him to have to go find her. And what is the next scene?
The
I
next
have to
scene
look every
is,
time I can't remember.
it cuts back to the police station.
Right.
Because at this point, somehow, I guess she was made to the police station, or some cops found her. They brought her there. You see her parents panically running into the police station.
Right.
And then I think comes another scene, because like the female police officer says something in lines like, the best decision would get you guys into witness protection until we found the guy, because he's on the loose.
Right.
And then basically with the cops, they drive home. And then you see the scene where basically the cops are they're getting everything ready to put them into witness protection.
Right.
And this is like then it cuts back to the scene of the main main antagonist, but this is all a scene that makes a lot of people look weird, because he's walking up to this gas station, buying a canister full of gasoline.
Gasoline, right.
And,
I remember now.
and a lighter. And he just walks up to there, and this is a little bit weird, because how much people does this have to pass by? Because if you're at a gas station, a guy buys directly a canister of gasoline
And a lighter.
and a lighter, and the guy's looking creepy. I mean, logically, the first thing you do is call the cops.
Yeah.
Or maybe say like, no, I'm not selling this to you, or whatever. No?
Yeah.
But this is like, what does not make much sense is the cops are clearly looking for this guy, and this somehow goes unnoticed.
That's true. I didn't think about that. But also, I think maybe at this point you could call it a reoccurring theme, and maybe a lesson in the film, that complacency is the killer of everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what is the phrase? It only takes good men to do nothing for evil to prevail. Right?
Yep.
Yes.
And there are so many people in this film that do nothing, that just let things slide. And because of that, this thing is allowed to happen. So you're right, though. In a real world, this guy's fucking face would have been plastered on every TV station. And I think because this is Texas, too, there may have been like a lockdown as well to find this guy, I mean, but at the same time, these people don't know that he's responsible for these other children.
Right. Yes.
That's the other thing. Yeah. Nobody knows that except for the viewer, right?
You would think the cops could put that together, though.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. I lived in Georgetown for a little while, which is the town that I think that this is supposed to be. It's like right next to Austin. And there's deaths of children and people there, like weekly. It's just that's society in the United States. I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to leave that in the podcast, because that's probably not a good thing to say. But dude. There's so much homicide and child murders in the States now. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. That's one of the reasons that we ended up. Little bit more information about me. One of the reasons we ended up homeschooling our kids. I don't want them to get murdered at school.
Yeah. Murdered in school, or taught a bunch of bullshit that you don't want them to get taught, too. That's
that too. Yeah.
I mean, did we start to discuss Then we could start to. Then that could lead to the discussion: how much useful things do you learn in school?
Yes.
That's true. Not a whole
Well,
lot.
did you know, Luna, that in Germany you're not allowed to homeschool?
No, I did not know that.
They forced your kids to go to the school system, and they must go to school, and they must learn what they're taught to learn there.
Okay.
So you're screwed if you want to move to Germany and homeschool your kids. It's not going to happen.
No.
I'm glad you're doing that though, because if I had kids right now, I would definitely not have them in public school. I would be homeschooling them as well.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if we lived somewhere where the gun thing wasn't an issue and the school systems were better and I trusted what they were teaching.
Yeah.
Like, there's too many disqualifiers right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you more southern or are you more northern?
I'm more northern, but it still counts as like one of the southern states. I'm in Ohio, which is
Okay.
the state that everyone hates.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
That's
There's
all you
like
needed to say.
There's nothing
Okay.
here. That's why I spend all day watching horror movies.
Okay. That makes sense. I get the feeling Ohio is a little bit like Iowa. Same kind of shit.
Yeah, right. There's nothing to do here. No one comes here. Like,
Have
if
you
I want anything-
you ever considered taking?
well, right now I can't fly because of all the anti-trans legislation in this country. I can't get
Right.
visas.
I fucking heard about that shit, man.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
So, like, I had a gig recently that I had to drive to New York. So it was 18 hours there. For I was going there to see a movie and
Yeah.
to talk to a director. And so I drove like 18 hours there, 16, whatever it was. Talked to them, did that, drove straight back. A lot easier
Fuck,
if I could have flown.
Well, yeah, like over here, they're not really insulated from all that stuff that's going on in the United States. Either
Yeah.
like everybody here hears about it and knows about it. All I can say is I hope that there's a very fucking abrupt, quick end to all this shit,
Yeah.
because I don't know how much more of it the U.S. can take, dude. This is like the teetering point. And
Oh,
not
I
to get into like politics or anything, but the whole world sees it. It's not just America.
Yeah.
Everybody over here
Yeah.
sees it.
Yeah, and it has to be, I mean, from an out, like, we can feel it here. Like, it just feels like the whole system is falling.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I have faith in this country that it can pull itself back together again. And for my safety and the safety of a lot of other people, I hope that it happens quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Us too. Even though we live over here, I mean, everything that happens in the States affects us over here as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a chain gang. You get shocked at the front. I'm still getting shocked at the end, you know?
Yeah.
Sure.
It makes sense. But yeah, I'll leave it. Anyway, I
Okay.
have so much shit I want to say that I'm not going to say right now.
Yeah, I could talk
okay.
politics, but
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so here the family was told they were going to be put into witness protection, right? But for whatever reason, the cops did not have a safe place to put them for the night, and I do not understand that. Because they have the girl back, they have the father, and they have the mom, so they take them back to that this guy knows where it is, and they're like, it's okay, we're going to put 2 cops out front, everything's going to be fine. You're right, this is just like a typical horror film right here. Stupid things that are happening. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Unless they wanted to set this up as a sting because they know this guy's going to come back and maybe they can catch him, right?
use the
Yeah,
family.
but then they would probably set more than 2 cops.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it's not like if this is Texas, they don't have a surplus of cops, because I promise you they have a surplus of cops in Texas.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So, one, they would have put them someplace else safer. And if they were going to use this as a sting, they would have had multiple cops outside. But we have 2 cops. And as the family is inside, we hear a crash and a scream out front. That scream is because the the murderer drove his car into the cop and pinned her between her car and his car.
Mhm.
So she's out there squished to death and screaming bloody murder right now. And he's just allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants, man. This guy he walks up, he smashes her in the head with a rock. The other cop that he also hit with the car is crawling along the ground, trying to get to his gun. He walks up and smashes his head in with a rock. And then the family that's on the inside is just screaming, right? They're just standing at the door screaming. And this bugs the shit out of me because he's got a gun and he's already fired once, right? And they've heard it.
Right.
The mother stands with her back to the window where you can clearly see her silhouette against the stained glass window. Just a perfect target for getting shot. Nobody's thinking right now. But whatever.
Yeah, you could make the argument that like people don't think quickly or correctly under adrenaline, but they've been making wrong decisions the whole movie.
The whole time.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then, of course, what should have been the perfect opportunity to knock this guy on his ass. I mean, let's take a look at the dad real quick. This guy is a obviously in shape, not small guy, right? He hides behind the door so that when the door opens, this out of shape guy walks through the door and he's supposed to hit him in the back of the head with a baseball bat. That's not what happens. The guy opens the door, stumbles in, looks around, and this guy gives him enough time to turn and see him.
Yep.
And when he turns and sees him, he shoots. He misses the first two shots. And then the dad drops the baseball bat for some reason, decides, hey, wait a minute, he's got a gun, I'm running. Which is the stupidest thing you can do because you're going to get shot in the back. And that's exactly what happens. He ends up on the floor.
Yeah.
This is a scene where he kind of just takes over, man. Like he comes in, the mother and the daughter run down into the basement to get away from him. He just opens the basement door, walks inside, shoots the mom. You think she's dead because you don't see it, but you think he shoots the mom. And he grabs the daughter, brings her inside, picks up the can of gas from outside, starts pouring it on the floor as he's taking her up to the bedroom. The mother, no, I'm sorry, I'm getting that wrong because the mother comes out of the basement, like crawls out of the basement.
Yeah.
He puts the gun to the mother's head to shoot her and kill her, but there's no bullets left in the gun. So lucky mom. She's on the floor downstairs. He takes the daughter upstairs to her bedroom. And as he's doing this, the mother wakes up the father because he's kind of passed out in the hallway. And she's like, hey, we have to save our daughter. He's like, where is she? And this is where the fire gets started upstairs, halfway up the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
So the floor in the house, the stairs leading up to her bedroom and her bedroom, everything's soaked in gasoline and is now on fire. So the father realizes this is what I was envisioning the entire time when I was having these nightmares.
Yeah.
This is what that is. The father's not in good shape, obviously, and the mother's even in worse shape. So the father is the one who goes upstairs to try to rescue the girl. The mother goes outside and kind of stands outside downstairs the bedroom window watching to see what's going on. There's a lot of symbolism here. There's a lot of things that happen here I'm kind of a sound person. So you have to listen to the sound and the things that are happening. The entire time this entire sequence happens, there are different demon voices saying certain things. And unlike earlier in the film where it's not a identifiable language, the languages that you're hearing this demon speak here is in different languages. It's in Spanish, it's in German, it's in Russian, it's in other languages, but they're all saying the same thing. They're all saying kill, die, murder, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not listening on like a system, you won't hear it, but it's done so fucking well that if you were in the theater watching this would have been a fucking incredible scene.
Sure.
But if you don't watch it with the sound up, you completely miss it.
Yeah.
So this is the demon wanting him to kill her. And like this demon wants this girl really bad. And he kind of says that much to her too. He says that you're the special one. for whatever reason, and that's why he really wants you.
Yeah.
We're never told why that is. Did anybody else catch that? What's supposed to make her special?
I was
No,
just going to ask if anybody caught something, but no.
not really. No.
Okay. There's something about her that's supposed to make her special, and that's why this demon wants her. The dad runs up. This whole scene, Luna, kind of like you said before, is your typical horror scene because this entire house is baking. There's smoke everywhere. Anybody who was in this room for more than a minute and a half would have died of smoke inhalation already, but there's a big fight that happens upstairs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, the father ends up taking out the bad guy. He doesn't look like he wants to do anything to her. He looks like he just wants to burn with her. And I think the reason is he can't live with himself anymore and these urges he has, but he also wants to take her out with him. Right.
Yeah. Matt, we have to
Yeah.
pause for a second. I have to get my the cable for my phone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead, dude.
I'm gone.
Well, Looney, you got another bathroom break.
That's fine. I'm going to go feed my dog real quick. Be right back.
Okay, take your time. I know we're like running a little.
Okay. Yeah. I'll be back.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I
Okay.
took the dogs out too. Okay, so where were we? What part? You remember?
We're right at the end. They're up on the bed, about to burn together, and the dad just walked in.
So the dad walks in, basically gets his like last few minutes of strength that he's got left because the dude is like suffering from a punctured lung right now, you know?
Yeah.
But he's able to basically kill the guy. And this is the moment where he kind of gets something. I don't know. He hasn't had it the whole fucking movie, but now he's got it. Like he grabs whatever he can, beats the guy with it, and then ultimately stabs him to death. Right?
Yeah.
The room is still burning. He's on the opposite side of the room. She's kind of engulfed in flames, and then a little part where she's not getting burned yet. And he has to say, jump through the fire to me. You have to come to me. She doesn't really trust that it's going to work. And I think this goes back to him swearing that he was going to take care of her, and he didn't. Two times in the movie. She takes a chance, trusts him, jumps through the flames. This is a beautifully filmed scene, and I actually had to go back and look because a lot of these flames that you see are just computer generated flames. Like it is CGI. It's done really well, but it's all CGI. This scene where she jumps through the flames was actually filmed with her jumping through some flames to make it look real. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Like, this young actress literally jumped through a wall of flames to this guy. I mean, she probably had some protective stuff on, but it's still really effective and really good. And I thought it looked real. That's why I had to look it up. She gets to him, and then they go out the window, climb down, and everybody's safe. And that's kind of the end of the film. I don't remember anything here towards the end that hints to any type of closure about the spirit, other than the fact that the father gets this premonition when he looks up at the house burning and realizes that he had said something earlier in the movie about these children are inside of him, and it's almost as if they want to come out. And that's why he was painting. It turns out that premonition that he had the whole time, the painting that he was doing was his trying to vent that feeling. Yeah. So he was trying to vent this feeling of these children wanting to come out of him by painting them, when really what they wanted him to do was dig them back up and, you know, give their families closure for their deaths. Yeah. So he realizes that the suitcase that we've been seeing this guy bury the entire film with all the other children's bodies were in their own yard the whole time, which is pretty fucked up.
It really is.
Dude. Twisted as fuck. But we assume that, you know, the families probably got closure for the death of their kids. And that really, for me, was the whole reason why he was doing what he was doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though that's a really odd way to do it, but it still works, right? It works for the film. And then film's over. We get Metallica's "For Whom the Bell Tolls," which is a brilliant fucking song to use here for all the imagery at the end that they use. They go through all these classic artworks from the Renaissance period all the way through modern day depictions of Satan. And they show all these pictures along with this music. And it's just it's a brilliant ending. Probably one of the most brilliant ending credit scene I've seen for a horror movie. That might just be because I'm a metalhead, but it's fun. I love that song too. It's a great fucking song. Overall, for me, probably one of the most interesting horror movies I've seen this year.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I agree on that. Yeah.
And I hate to say that because we just saw The Evil Dead. We've got to do that episode yet. Evil Dead Byrne, but this movie was so much more interesting than that film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Evil Dead.
Really was.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm a fanatic. I love The Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say I was disappointed by this film because it was good and it was on par with all the other, the new universe, right? But I think it was probably the weakest of them. I think
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they went too gore and not enough plot. And also, like, Evil Dead's supposed to be a little campy, in my opinion. I mean, Grandma was a little bit camp, but
she was hilarious. She was the best part of the movie.
I don't know. I feel like it didn't push the comedy enough. But that's like my 3 growing up, 1, 2, and Army of Darkness. I watched those 100 times.
Yeah. I still watch those at least once or twice a year. I love those movies.
I never watched Evil Dead until I was like in my 20s.
Nice.
That's because of Germany, though, because you guys couldn't get it.
It was in Germany, and it was like, it was banned for a very long time. And by the time it was finally released in Germany, I think I was already around 18 or whatever. And I know a lot of metalheads speaking about Evil Dead. But the crazy thing is, why I never caught up to it is actually in German it has a different title. The Tanz der Teufel would be like Dance of the Devils. No? And that's why when I hear people talking about Evil Dead, I mean on the internet with horror movies or whatever, I never really caught the connection because I only knew it as Tanz der Teufel.
Yeah.
So it also took me a while to realize that Tanz der Teufel is just the German title for Evil Dead.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Nim said the same thing too when we had him on. He didn't realize that it was called Evil Dead until later, and he was like, "Oh, it's called Tanz der Teufel over here too." Yeah, and he's in the Netherlands, which I think it was banned there as well. Yeah.
Why?
But yeah, I think the next episode we're going to do is Evil Dead because we just saw that, or Evil Dead Byrne. So we'll have to see how that comes out. But this film, enjoyed it a lot more, and I appreciate you bringing that to this podcast because that was fucking
Me too.
great.
Yeah.
Also, yeah.
Is there anything else that you wanted to point out about the film that you found interesting that we may have missed, or is there anything that you did when you reviewed the film that you?
I think we covered pretty much all of it. The only thing that I think I put in the review that I didn't bring up here, I love the father-daughter dynamic, and I love the small interactions we get between the husband and wife. But I do wish that the mother would have played a bigger role in the family. It seemed like her character was more like wallpaper dressing for a lot of the film. Yeah. But that's...
Yeah, she was kind of put in a corner for most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. No. I don't know why either, because it wasn't like she was a bad actress. Like the scenes that she was in with the interaction was really good.
Yeah.
Although I've never seen the actress before. I don't remember her from any other movies.
I remember her. I knew this actress from somewhere, when I saw her. And the only thing I remember her in is she played in the sci-fi show Roswell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was the second main character. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've never seen her before. But, I mean, she did a good job.
Yeah.
Fortunately, though, I think we're seeing women take on a very, very, very big role in horror now, probably more than ever has been before.
Absolutely.
And what's cool is you don't see people bitching about it, which is fucking great.
Right.
Like nobody's complaining about it, which is cool. I felt like horror kind of needed that. And when Evil Dead, the remake, did it, the 2000, it's not really a remake, but 2013, when they did that, when they kind of replaced Ash's hero character with her, I was like, okay, dude, that's a cool fit, man. Like she really did well in that role.
Yeah.
And they've done it with every new Evil Dead since then. So,
Yeah.
I mean, great, dude.
Yeah.
More still for me, like this is that argued point. Who is your favorite sci-fi horror hero in any franchise? For me, it's always Ripley anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I go on about Ripley because Ripley is the prototype of the modern final girl. And it took horror 30 years to catch up to her.
Yeah.
Which it blows my mind. But yeah, a female ship captain who ends up surviving at the end, like amazing. Progressive as all hell for the time period.
Yeah. And it wasn't a thing. No, it was done so well that even if you were one of those people that wanted to complain about it, you really didn't have anything to complain about because she is such a fucking badass, dude.
Mm-hmm. Oh
I mean, God. Ripley's like awesome, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely need more of that. I really wish we could continue Ripley's story as well. Like that's one of the things that burns me up is that Blomkamp wanted to kind of ignore Alien 3 and 4 and pick up where 2 left off, and he never got the green light, and I would have loved to have seen what that film was going to be like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, so are you more of a fan of the originals then, or the like prequels, the new things of
Prometheus? Man, I hate the prequels. I can't stand them. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, that's a whole long conversation. I've bitched about this in the podcast multiple times. Yeah. I think the fact that Ridley Scott is doing them kind of lends them a little bit of credibility. Yeah. But at the same time, something that people don't know is that Ridley Scott is not the guy who came up with the original story.
No, right. He didn't. Yeah,
he
didn't even write the script. No,
the only thing he did was the film treatment for it, and then ran with it. And he got a lot of credit for it. And then James Cameron picked it up in Aliens, right? So he has very little to do with the story. And everybody's like, oh, no, well, if he's doing it, then this is definitely canon. And my answer to that is no, he didn't write the original story. So no, it's not. And it shows because those movies do exactly what I don't like about horror and horror sci-fi. And that's treat the audience like a bunch of idiots that need everything explained to them.
Yeah. But also the thing, what comes with the prequels when you're bringing up what he did is just something that is absolutely unnecessary. It's not necessarily the mystery. It's just like that the Xenomorphs, there has to be like this big explanation over like 2 or 3 movies how the Xenomorphs came to be. It's like, for me, it's like, I just think that's totally exaggerated. I mean, you could have just let it's just a species that developed on some other planet. You do not need an explanation for that because it's supposed to be some alien species. And when you watch a horror movie, fine, you don't want to basically learn something about extraterrestrial biology or something. Not that it's interesting, but that's like stuff you watch on YouTube, like lore videos, because it's interesting, it's amusing. But when it comes to like that, it's just, I thought it was dumb. The entire thing with the goo, the engineers, all life on Earth being more or less an alien experiment, and that leading to people eventually going off to a planet where it was also black goo. Somehow a robot they created done genetic experiments on something, and that led to the that's just, I don't know, that's so far-fetched that just makes I don't know.
It also just ruins the mystery. Like the main thing that makes the Xenomorph so fucking terrifying is you have no idea what it is. You have no idea where it's from. You're still not sure if you know that it can do other things that you haven't seen it do yet. You know, you should have just moved forward. I didn't need the whole explanation. So no, I don't like the movies. I hope they don't finish them. I'm a purist. If that
That's
makes
fair.
any sense, I think you can't get much better than Alien and Aliens. I think that was kind of the end of the story. That's all we really needed.
Yeah.
You didn't have to kill Newt. You didn't have to, destroy the story of 2 for the sake of showing 3 and 4.
Yeah.
But that's typical horror complaining shit. What do you?
I love them as a theological argument. I love the films for the philosophy, but yeah, I feel like they're almost unrelated to the original films. I think had they gone in a different direction and maybe not made it Alien, it would have been a much better film.
Yeah.
But I do want to say my favorite thing about the original 2 is when I talk to people about what is horror exactly? The answer is Alien is a horror movie. Aliens is an action movie.
Yeah.
And the reason why that is because in the first film, they don't know anything about the xenomorph. They're being hunted. That's a horror movie. In the second film, they've learned a little bit, and now they're hunting. It's an action movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I would say Aliens is also just as terrifying as Alien. I mean,
Yeah.
I still think that part 2 is a horror film. Absolutely.
Fair.
It's definitely more action horror film. It's kind of the same thing with the Terminator. Same shit. Like we just did both those episodes for Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, and we did Terminator 2 not because it's a horror film, but because the story works so well with the first one. Like the storytelling is brilliant.
Mhm.
And so for that reason alone, it was worth doing. But that one is an action film, and Terminator is definitely a horror film.
Right.
Same thing with Aliens.
Yeah.
But that is a cool question to ask. Like, what do you consider a horror film, and what does a film have to do to step outside of that? No.
I think that a horror film, at least in its goal, should be to make you feel uncomfortable. Now, that also falls under thriller and things like that. But I think that thriller is just a made up genre because they didn't want to call things horror.
It is. I've always thought that. Yeah, I've always thought that.
Yeah.
But once, because even horror comedies will do that. I mean, Tucker and Dale for People, it has some genuinely uncomfortable moments. Once the movie stops trying to do that, now we're not horror territory anymore. And we kind of see that with the A24 effect of films. Some of these films are getting so wrapped up in having a message and a meaning that they're dramas. They're not actually horror movies.
Yeah.
They're still good movies, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think anything can be a horror movie if it upsets you and scares you. I think one person's idea of a horror film might be something different for me. Like Jaws, for example, is a great one because nobody can agree on what that movie is. Like, not really. There's a lot of people that say that is an action film through and through with scary parts. But for me, growing up on the Gulf Coast, like on an island, that movie is the most horrific horror film I've ever seen. Scares the shit out of me. So for some people, it'll be horror. Some people, it might not be horror,
Yeah, that's true. And it's hard. Like, I have to make that distinction when I get sent. PR agents will just straight up lie to you. They will send you a movie, tell you it's a horror movie, and then you watch it, and you're like, this is a sci-fi movie at best. It's not a horror movie. Because they want you to watch it, and they hope that you like it enough that you'll still write about it. It's not really how that works.
No, but that's kind of like, that's backstabbing to me. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's not something that happens all the time, and it's not something that happens from the major studios. But some of your smaller presses that really need the attention, they'll say whatever they got to say to get you to do the movie.
Yeah, I kind of have done this to Mike a few times. I think twice since we've done this podcast. I'm like, yeah, dude, we're gonna do this movie. It's a horror movie, and it's great. And I thought it was kind of a horror movie, and he was like, dude, that was not a horror movie. What was the one? What was the one that we did recently? It was a Sam Raimi film. Send Help. Send Help.
Oh, sure. I mean, that's a horror movie. It's a horror survival, right?
No, for me, it
Yes.
has very little to do with horror at all. I mean,
That's fair.
how should I say? I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't have any horror aspects. I mean, considering the beach thing, the beach scene, and then the scene with the boar. No, but
Yeah.
other than that, for the most part, it's just a survival movie with a little bit of thriller at the end. But I never once considered this to be a horror movie, and I would not definitely not call it, because for me it has no horror aspects at all. It's just like the horror aspects of the movie can pretty much dial down not being more than 2 minutes.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, I love the movie. I thought it was really
was great.
movie. Loved it. But just this, it was clearly not a horror movie for me.
Well, we'll see. I'm sure I'm going to do that to Mike a few more times.
Probably.
I might just start doing it on purpose.
And like, I deliberately put movies on our list that I know you hate because I want to torture you.
I know.
Terrible.
I know. There's a few of them I'm not looking forward to, but I'm going to do them anyway just because I'm a good sport. Plus, just because I don't like something doesn't mean it's not worth talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because what do I know? I mean, we do this one because we love it. Like me and Mike could probably sit there and just talk about horror movies for hours. That's kind of our thing. But there are horror fans that love stuff that I don't love, and they probably want to hear us talk about it. So we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now that we've gotten through the film and like talked about a bunch about other stuff, is there anything that you specifically want to mention or talk about that? Not necessarily about the movie, but is there anything else that's on your mind that you want horror fans to know, or maybe a statement you'd like to make about the industry or whatever? Because you have a different viewpoint than we do about these things because you're kind of more in it.
I guess so. I just want to say to the people out there making films, the indie productions, iHORROR is here. We support the indie actors, we support the indie films and producers. Hit us up. You can find us on all socials. You can find me on every social platform, Luna Gray Horror. If you send me a DM, I will respond to you. I can't guarantee that I'll watch your film, but I'll give it a yes or no.
Yeah.
That's better than nothing. But there is an open door. So I know it can feel like all the doors are closed.
Yeah. I'm sure it feels that way. We're also, for me and Mike, extremely happy you reached out to us.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, awesome. Thanks.
It's nice to feel like there's other people out there that really enjoy what we're doing, that notice and want to be part of it. And I think you're a freaking awesome person. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
And I'd love to do it again if it strikes your fancy. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, this was super fun.
Yeah. And then you have to keep us updated too. Like if you got something that you previewed or feel passionate about and you want to come on and talk about it, feel free to let us know. Let's do this again. Because
that would be great.
We would also love to be more a part of the horror community if we can. Originally, this started as us just having something to do that we were both passionate about, but we realize that it is such a big part of our lives, and horror does mean so much to us that, I mean, anything we can be a part of, we'd be part of it. As long as it was a good cause,
Yeah. I always say I do this for the love of the game. Like, I would do this if they didn't pay me, because I did it for a while when they weren't paying me.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, please come back and
that would be great. Yeah,
back here again. So yeah, do you guys have anything else you want to say about this film or one of your other directors or any other film that you're excited about coming out soon? Anything that you can think of that you think we should look at doing an episode on? Any movie that you've seen that's super fucking impressive
from
that we may not have on our list?
Have you seen Camp? CAMP?
No.
It's an indie film that came out this year.
I've heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredibly good. That's the movie that I drove up to New York for. I had already seen it, and I still drove up to New York to talk to
No
the director.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's delightful, but you are going to run into that problem where it's, does this have enough horror in it to technically be horror?
Okay.
I
Okay.
think
Well,
so.
I mean,
but-
as long as it's got more horror in it than Send Help, I think we'll be
Yeah.
okay.
There's definitely more horror than that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. So thanks for being here again.
Yeah. Thank you a
and,
lot for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys can catch us next week for our next episode. I'm not really sure what movie we're doing, Mike, but I'm sure it'll be a surprise. Okay. So we'll see you guys until next time. I'm Matt.
Bye, Mike.
I'm Luna.
And we'll see
Bye.
you guys next time.
The blackest skies, the depths